Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV's podcast 302. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Johnny V. And Johnny, including our timing, I think things are almost thinking about starting to maybe get back to normal here on the podcast.
Are you talking about the podcast? Are you talking about the golf season? Are you talking about my basement, the studio? What are you talking about, Terry?
Yeah, so many things this looking for some normalcy or returning to previous situations. As soon as he's ready, and if his kids cooperate, I think those go hand in hand, we may be hearing from Dana Vici, who is long overdue. It's been a while since we checked in with him. And then, after we catch up with Dana, we're going to have an update and maybe a little bit of insight, maybe some predictions, some foreshadowing, I don't know, all of those things that will come in from the West Coast, where we've got Alan and AJ Risley, along with their Canadian guest friend in Thomas Gilbert, who I believe is in town in San Diego area trying to defend a title over at the Challenge at Goat Hill.
That's a beast of a course, from my understanding. It seems like that would favor someone like Mr. Thomas.
Tall, lanky fellas that are really smart and into disc golf. I feel like we have one of those in Florida already.
Well, we like to hit the north and the south.
That makes sense. And speaking of Florida, one of the headlines that we could briefly talk about, the same individual that a few months ago was bit by an alligator found himself, I think, bit in the face or again by an alligator.
It was the same person. I had read that someone had been bit in the face by an alligator retrieving a disc, or I don't know if they were just in a pond getting discs.
Just another day in Florida disc golf.
Or just grabbing his particular disc and be like, oh, look at this disc. Snap.
Yes, and I'm sorry, my computer's booting up right now, so I can't find the exact name, but I know it's out there, and from what I've been seeing on the Facebooks, I believe it was the same gentleman that a few months ago was bit by an alligator, probably the same alligator. It was probably Chubbs.
Chubbs.
Yeah, it's definitely Chubbs. But
got a taste for disc golf face.
He was bit, I think it said at 5 a.m., was that yesterday morning already? Is it Tuesday?
5 a.m.
Well, so one would then start to think, because there's, of course, a lot of conversation that rolls around as to whether or not he's in there simply retrieving his own disc, or if maybe he goes in there and likes to, maybe he helps the disc golf community in finding other people's discs, or sometimes he's finding them and not necessarily helping the other people's discs. But I'm sure there's somebody that's on our board, which I can't see right now, could chime in and give us some insight. But I have heard that you're not necessarily allowed or welcome to be wading or digging around or swimming around in those parts.
Which is maybe why he's doing it at 5 a.m.
If you, I don't think we need
Law
and Order JVD here to figure this out.
Bum bum.
So
I just need my own. Can you be my iced tea?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I assumed as much. I just wanted to make sure.
Hustler, hustler. Anyway, that's an old iced tea reference, folks. So I think I also saw in the article something about since like 1928, they've been keeping track of alligator attacks or bites. And there's been 37 since they started keeping track. I don't know if it was all of Florida.
No, it can't be. It's got to be more than all of Florida. Or maybe it's that county.
Maybe that county, whatever it was. But the number that jumped out for me was he's now accounted for 2 of them. He's accounted for two.
That's a big percentage.
2 of the bites in the last 90 or so years. I just think the numbers aren't really on your side. And if you're in there and you shouldn't be...
Can you really blame the alligator for doing alligator things?
No. I mean,
it's...
What do you think? I think we need Madison Walker for this, but what provokes an alligator? Just being in their territory?
Them being hungry is my guess. Because we've been to Florida.
Yeah.
We went to Clearwater. We saw a gentleman wading in one of the ponds.
With like a... Don't go in here, alligators
yes.
present sign, like, he's practically standing on it.
And people were just like, oh, no, he does that all the time. Don't worry. And we saw alligators in that pond.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, I just maintain a good distance from them. I do what I can. Again, this was me being the the northern city boy I was just like, hell no. Ain't no way you're getting me in that thing, in that pond. I didn't like to go within 2 to 3 feet of the edge of the shore. And I think they're relatively docile, I will say, as long as they're not hungry. If they're mildly hungry, or if you're in a territory, I assume if it's a mother alligator and there's youngins nearby, I'm not at Madison Walker. I don't know anything about animals, to be honest, but I would have to assume that, like most animals, they become predatory or defensive, we'll say. Either way, not gonna catch me anywhere near there.
You're more likely to be on To Catch a Predator than to be caught by an alligator. Your silence says too much. All right, so that happened and has been happening. I think the tip would be probably don't be in alligator waters where you're not supposed to be. And if you are either uninvited or illegally there, it's hard to have too much sympathy if it's your second time. One might think, okay, I learned that lesson once.
No lessons learned.
But now,
I mean, maybe he was trying to entice the alligator with some Zima. Like, hey, what are you doing in my pond? Nothing, sir. Nothing, officer, sir. What is all that Zima for? I was going to drink it myself, not the alligator. Or
and then he had some Jolly Ranchers. I don't know. All right, so that's happening in Florida. And, of course, as we mentioned earlier, when we talk to the gentleman from California tonight, we'll talk a little bit about the challenge at Goat Hill. And then we have to also start thinking ahead to what we're going to see starting back up next weekend, which will be the Dynamic Disc Open, as we'll be heading back, we're heading to Emporia. We haven't been there yet this year. We're going to be heading over to Emporia, and then the weekend following that, we're heading to Minnesota to go to the Preserve. So disc golf is back on the map, at least from the Pro Tour perspective, for the next couple of weekends. And the challenge at Goat Hill this weekend also being a Silver Series event. So in a sense, we really feel like the Pro Tour is just about back into the swing of things.
It truly is. Behind the scenes, we've been doing a lot of Pro Tour stuff. I've got some of the live equipment I tested yesterday, and tomorrow I'll be working with the guys that are on the road to test things. I'm working out some things with Mo. Mo will be actually in the studio for the event, for the Dynamic Disc Open. There's some restrictions that Kansas currently has in place. That you are supposed to adhere to, and one of which is a 14-day what's the word?
Quarantine?
Self-quarantine. I almost said sanctuary. Quarantine if you've been to a few different states, and Mo happens to reside in one of those states. So it was just really inconvenient for him to have to either leave 2 weeks early or just find a way to make it work. So instead, what Mo's going to be doing is Mo's going to get a hotel room up the road here on 27th Street, and he'll be coming in here to the studio and doing some coordination with the booth and working with me to just kind of get a general feel. He's never seen behind the scenes as to what we do here, so he wants a little bit better idea so he can have a better plan of attack in the future. But I believe after that, he will be going to most of the other events. I don't think this will be a permanent solution for him.
There's not a huge difference between here and the ESPN controlled.
It's more or
center
less.
That he's
It's
worked
more
at.
or less the same.
Yeah, pretty similar.
I mean, I'm a regular Hannah Storm.
Yeah, something like that. So it will be exciting to have Mo here in the booth. He'll be along with you, like you said, and we'll also have Gary to the O, who will be in here doing some graphics and such. And that's all for next weekend. So I know next week we'll have a little bit more of a precursor to talk about that. In terms of the other media that we continue to see, podcasts, preview shows, all of those other things still in full swing and taking place. We unofficially have kind of shelved for now our disc golf SmashBoxxTV game night. Thursday night, we had yet another iteration of it. It was a lot of fun, of course. So when it was all said and done, I think it was 9 or 10 of them that we did. And look for those to probably make a return come the slower part of the season, maybe maybe as we start to close out, yeah, as we start to close out and things slow down, maybe that will be a wintertime activity that we can pick back up and do something of that nature. So game night has been a lot of fun, and of course we appreciate everyone that has joined us and has been part of that throughout these last 9 weeks or so.
While we wait for Dana for a few more minutes, I am really excited in that last week I signed up for an event for this weekend. This upcoming weekend is the GMO, an event you have run in the past, the Greater Milwaukee Open, and formerly known as the Rumbletown Classic.
There was a year in between. It was just the Milwaukee Open.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Kurt Raff, when he took it over.
Oh, he ran
it went from being the Rumbletown Classic to then Kurt Raff took over the event, Tourist Disc Golf at the time. Yep. Then it was the Milwaukee Open, and then after he took it over the year after that, I took it over, and then picked up the name, the GMO, the Greater Milwaukee Open.
Great. That's a good bit of history for everybody for the Milwaukee event. And when I signed up last week, I think I said this on Thursday, I wasn't sure what division to sign up in because there were 4 Advanced Masters at the time, which is a division that I have played most recently. There was like 20 advanced players. I could have signed up for Masters, Pro Masters. There was about a dozen players in there, all of which are, I would say, relatively good, and a couple really good locals. And there was Open, of which I really don't stand any chance. No. Short of having the weekend of my life. And even then, that's a cash. That's a bottom cash spot. Like, so I was like, I don't know, 4 players. I'll sign up here, and if it, worse comes to worse, I'll just change divisions. I'll ask Kevin to maybe bump me up to advanced. Well, lo and behold, I checked today, and there's like 16 or 17 in the Advanced Masters field of us old guys. So I'm really excited now to be able to play in a larger field with some really fun and good players that are out there. I saw Mike Newhouse signed up. There was, I think, some guy named Vinny who I don't know, or Vin or Vil.
Vince DeBella's in there.
Vince DeBella I saw as well, but that's not who I was thinking.
It's a name from yesterday.
Either way, I'm excited because I get to play Dretzka and Brown Deer. It'll be like the second or third round I'll play this year, and we're just gonna probably wing it. If I'm lucky, I'll get to go out to one of the local courses and get a quick practice round in before now and Saturday, but I wouldn't count on that.
Yeah,
coming off the couch is really the best way to come.
Oh yeah, that's how I played my best golf. And this weekend, so 160 players will be at these 2 courses. There's going to be 2 rounds of 21 that will take place, and it will be at these these are 2 of Milwaukee's nicer courses. They're county courses that are being played, and you'll play one in the morning and of course reverse it for the afternoon. And then if you're interested in still playing and you play on the amateur side on the intermediate rec and those divisions, there still are openings for Sunday for people that want to come compete. I understand that that's Father's Day, but with everything kind of getting shifted around this year. But this is going to be
Father's Day got shifted too?
Yep, yeah, really large scale B tier here in Milwaukee. Taking place as part of also the Wisconsin Disc Golf Tour, which we saw just open up initially last weekend over at another good course. So Johnny and I will have the pleasure of both playing. I signed up late last night.
Did you? What division did you sign up in?
Pro Masters.
Excellent. Good for you.
Which should be a very should be a lot of fun. There's a lot of people that Johnny and I have known and played golf with for many, many years that you find in that division. And it should be a very interesting time, needless to say. So we may or may not be on the same courses at the same time, but if not, we'll be reversed. You will likely start at the opposite course of me.
Usually they have pros on one, advanced on the other.
And we'll see how things all shake out. So go to Vegas. It's open. Place your bets, and we'll see how scores shake out at the end of the weekend as Johnny and I.
And I believe we're playing the same tees and everything. I think only the open players are playing from the extended tees, the pro pads, as we call them here at Dretzka. I believe everybody else is playing from the standard tee pads that we kind of grew up and learned.
Yes, so that's going to be all going down in Milwaukee this upcoming weekend. Maybe we'll see some of you out there. I know we've got quite a few Smashies that have been part of it.
Yeah, there you are right there. You are the 8th or 9th highest rated player in the division, Terry.
There are 20 Pro Masters that are competing, including a couple of the locals, a couple of the guys that are even eligible for older divisions. Wow, that's interesting to see.
John Turlap.
Turlap.
Yeah.
Mark the Shark, I think, is old enough to compete in a higher division, possibly, but should be a really good time. So we have 20 in the Pro Masters division, and then what'd you say, 16
in the Am Master division. Well, when I signed up, you had not signed up. I would have thought about signing up and
come play with the big boys.
MP40.
Come, you're welcome.
Nah, I'll stick with Am Master.
I'm not saying he's scared, folks.
I'm not scared. I'm just gonna get. I'll probably have more fun in the Am Master field than I will in the Pro Master field.
Yeah.
Plus, there's a chance for me to actually cash in the Am Master.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to check in with Dana and see if he's just about ready here for us. I know Dana has said that one of his daughters not feeling well, possibly from some shots in the last day or two. I think Dana's got some big things in the works that he's working on with Discmania. I know they've got some new releases and things of that nature coming about. Maybe he can give us shed some light on that as well.
Onto that.
The insider information. I do want to quickly give a shout out. Please go out and follow Chasing the Bees on Instagram and find him on Facebook.
Do not watch him on Thursday night because he did not really do very well at game night.
Yes, that might not be the place, but I just want to thank him yet again. He has put together some amazing short compilations of players, of videos and pictures over at Maple Hill last year for the MVP Open. He's always the best dressed caddy that's out there, usually has a tie on along with some kind of knickerbockers or something like that. He's the classiest, best dressed gentleman out there, and he has a way with words like none other. So if you've seen any of my Instagram posts, I think the last 2 out of 3 or 3 out of the last 4, there's been some very eloquent poetry that goes along with it. That's not me, and I don't think that surprises most of you. That has not been me. I put up a post regarding disc golf and the Epilepsy Foundation of Wisconsin today, but everything else in the last few have been from him, and he's so good with everything that he posts. So please go find Chasing the Bees on Instagram, and you'll see some of his great work that's out there and available to us. Also, conversations continue. I think they're starting to do some interviews with the PDGA with regards to our 16 or 17 now. Did
somebody else?
I thought it was 16, and then I saw a new note that there was 17 candidates. Whatever the number is, there's a lot. High teens in terms of candidates that are running for the board of directors position. So look for those to come out on some form of PDGA related podcast or something like that is how I think they might be doing it. Again, I'd still like to have interviews with all of them if time will allow for us, as I know we're getting closer and closer. But make sure you go exercise your right to vote, so we have better than like the 8 or 12% voter turnout that we typically do. Yeah. Since we're going to move in with Dana still doing his stuff, Johnny, did you find anything that was going on this last weekend in terms of disc golf tournaments that we could recap quickly?
I certainly did. The 2020 Lucky Disc Golf Open is a B-tier Pro-Am event out in Idaho Falls, Idaho, which would be weird if it was Idaho Falls somewhere else, but you never know. Shane Hill was the tournament director, and one of the things I found really interesting about this particular event was the open field was won by Dalen Blanchard. And that, in and of itself, no big deal. Second place, Chris Blanchard. Have to assume a brother, maybe a cousin. You never know, but odds are that
the PDGA numbers are 2 apart.
Yeah, that's 72707, 72709. I want to know who. I should look up who's 727. You can't even look, Terry. Who's 72708? I wonder if there's a third Blanchard out there.
One in between the two of them.
I know. Ultimately, I'm going to go with Dalen. Dalen shoots a 36 under par, shooting rounds of 1041, 1064, and 1020 with a finals of 998. That's some really darn good golf. Chris lost by 4 strokes, shooting a 1041, 1053. He dipped here with the 898 but then followed up with the 998 final. So congratulations to you two for taking first and second. Third place, Kevin Sheehan, tied with Spencer Ling and DJ Gilbert. There was not an open women field, but in the Pro Masters, Drew Nielsen wins this one over Jeremy Briscoe by 6 strokes. So congratulations to the Blanchards. 72708. I need to look at who this is now, Terry.
Oh, there's one in between, another family member, Garen Blanchard.
With his picture sideways on the poor Garen. So there are 3 Blanchards. Garen does
there could
not
be 4 or more.
There could be. I'm not gonna dig him up. Although he apparently did play in the 2020 Lucky Disc Golf Open. Garen played as well. Sorry, Garen, I'm gonna call you out here. I need to find out how you did. Garen took 19th in advanced.
Okay.
So we're but the results don't maybe they are finished up. It's just a little awkward if some of them still have tee time sitting up there. But congratulations to all the Blanchards. Well done, I do say. What else do we have? I'm going to take another look here. That was the 2020 Lucky Open. There was also there's so many weekday events that it's hard to find the right one. There is the DGV Tour number 2 called The Bro out of Jeffersonville, Vermont. Winning this one is Nathan Vintiner. He shot a -3, followed up by John DiBattista, shooting a 1 down, and then Charlie Vese at even. So congratulations. In the Open Women, Alex Benson takes that. We're going to move right over to, I'm going to roll down some of these B tiers here. The Idle Hour Open 2020, sponsored by Innova in Altamont, Kansas. This one was directed by Derek Spencer, and one of our popular pro names takes this down only by 2 strokes when he had a 24 rating point lead. That was Emerson Keith. So Emerson Keith wins this one by shooting a 1061 and a 1025. So it kind of feels like he's in the groove, getting ready to play. Second place was Logan Harpool, who's a 1006 rated player. Third place is Nathan Queen, another lefty, guy that we know on tour, shooting 21 under, so 3 strokes behind Emerson, followed by Derek Manley and then Brandon Cawthorn. In the Open Women, we have Rebecca Cox, another touring pro, shooting a 7 over. Her round ratings were 964 and 846, so 1 above and 1 below her rating, followed by Kat Merch. I'm going to go with Merch on that. 5 strokes behind Rebecca. Emily Beach, 1 stroke behind her, and then Caitlin Belty, a few strokes behind Emily. So congratulations to both winners there.
And while you look for your next event, a couple other pros that I've seen out and about that aren't necessarily playing, we've seen a lot of pictures and updates coming in from Alaska. Yep. Eric McCabe, along with Denise, are out in Alaska, and I'm guessing they're a little early. Some things prepped for the tournament that's going to be taking place there in July, and I'm assuming they're coming back. I don't think they're going to stay there for 30 days or 20 some more days, but maybe they are. I'm honestly not sure. I haven't checked McCabe's personal planner recently, but I'm going to dig into that. And then also I saw out on the West Coast, Nate Perkins along with Paige Pierce and a few others were visiting Bevel Brewing. So big shout out to Bevel. I know they were up there. I think they were up there also playing maybe even in the Whistler's Bend doubles that's happening. And that's a very, very popular event, unsanctioned doubles tournament that's quite intense, that's been going on for a number of years. And it's a pretty big deal to play in it and or win it. It's pretty prestigious for being non-sanctioned. And I think that's going on this weekend. So huge shout out, Bevel and Nate, Val, of course, along with Paige and Nate, who have been visiting them. And then some may ask, where's Alyssa? Alyssa is back in Wisconsin, I know, working on some music, doing some stuff with her family. And I think it's today or tomorrow or very soon is her birthday. So happy birthday to Alyssa Lannon.
And one of the guys who normally rolls with that crew, Mr. James Conrad, was actually in our particular neck of the woods, sort of. He was in Wisconsin, but quite a few hours north of us, checking out Sandy Point. So the hallowed grounds that we consider here in the Midwest. James Conrad, which is a course that I think James Conrad would feel the most comfortable on. Probably him and Michael Joe both would just probably eat that course alive. It's obviously relatively short compared to some of the courses that they're used to playing, but heavily wooded. So congratulations. It's good to see James. I'd love to know what his thoughts on the course were. I'm sure he loved it, as most people do. Let's talk real quick about the Missouri Eagle and Elephant and Castle present the 10th annual Jared Hilton Memorial. This was run by Russ Burns over in Lebanon, Missouri. Taking down the Open was another touring pro, Andrew Presnell. It feels like all these guys now are kind of just getting this, shaking the cobwebs off and getting ready for some of our bigger events coming up next week. So Andrew Presnell wins by 8 strokes over Alan Hooper. Then in third place was Scott Daimler, tied with Mark Anderson, George Smith, yes, the eternal ageless wonder, PDG number 4034, and Eric Downing. Congratulations to you guys. In the Open Women was Brandy Monahan. Maybe it's Monahan, but I'm going with Monahan. And in second place was Fraser Jacobs. So congratulations to, again, all the winners, as I like to say. That is, for the most part, our most of our big events.
Yeah, and it's interesting as you look through the PDGA calendar, and of course use pdga.com and discgolfscene.com as your two primary places to figure out what's going on with tournaments. Some have either been canceled, some have been reserved or postponed.
Yes.
So every tournament's a little bit different as to what's happening there. They've done a really good job in either marking that it's canceled or possibly kind of graying it out so that it's not necessarily as prominent on the site, just to give some kind of indication as to whether or not that the event is still happening. So check those out. Again, more than ever, we say this a lot, more than ever, you want to double check with the tournament director as to what the policies and procedures are going on. Is there going to be a player meeting, where things will be happening, if things are going to be happening? You always want to have all of those details in place, I think, for any tournament, but now with COVID, with some extra stipulations and considerations and precautions that are being taken, just first of all, scour that website, discgolfscenepdga.com, and if and only if you don't find an answer, go ahead and reach out or maybe do some additional investigating. But hopefully most of the details that you need will be found on a place like Disc Golf Scene or on an event flyer, so that you have everything you need to know about that event. So, and speaking of events, I think we may have officially missed our show through with Dana. So I'm now talking to Alan Risley and see if he can dial us in through our regular Skype line.
Before he does that, let me just double check that everything is working.
And I'm going to make sure that he's got all of our information.
It doesn't. Yeah, hold on. Give me 1 second here. Let's make sure that our microphone is kicking in, because it doesn't look like it is at the moment.
And then what we'll do is we'll have those guys talk to us a little bit about what is really likely the largest scale event going on this weekend, and I don't mean to offend anyone else putting on something, but it's probably one of the highest profile events that's going to be going on this weekend. So it'll be great to get a little preview. I'm not going to say he badgered us into talking about it, or hounded us, or bribed us. I'm not going to say any of that, but it will.
Wait,
be
did
good.
he bribe us?
No, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
What I really like is Terry, about 3 minutes before the show, booted up his computer. Mm-hmm. This is his old computer, the one that it's
2 or 3 laptops ago.
Oh, it's old. Like, it's falling apart, quite literally. The screen is almost falling off of it.
Yep.
And it's now working on updates of 1%. So
yeah, just 30 straight minutes of updates. It's killing it here.
Just dominating.
Just doing great. So that's why I'm on top of it with all the details that I'm always looking for in front of me. And like I said, hopefully we've got Alan that will be ready and is maybe even calling in right now.
He is calling in right now.
All right.
Well, it's not just Alan.
Oh, the Disc Golf Boy as well? Is that what I'm hearing?
It might be the Disc Golf Boy as well. Now, let me just make this one little change.
And in just a moment,
That looks...
And we'll talk a little later about Disc Baron, and I know that he's been graciously sponsoring our digital green room. He's got some updates going on with his shop over there in Michigan. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, we're going to recognize that AJ and Alan are in our Disc Baron digital green room, and I think we're just about ready to welcome them to the show.
Yeah.
And if he's ready to go, hopefully he can hear us.
Yeah, they should be able to hear us pretty well.
And we're all good to go if you are, AJ. All right. I think without further ado, we can welcome to the show,
Hopefully,
AJ and Alan Risley. Hey, guys.
I mean, there we are.
How you doing?
Hi. You're live.
Maybe
Our lighting is terrible.
It's terrible.
I mean, didn't you send your
we
son
could move a little bit.
Didn't you send your son to school for videography? All right.
All right. We'll see if we can.
the fact that we can't hear him is pretty.
Yeah, we can't hear you guys.
Oh, that's interesting that they are.
Can they hear us?
We're,
Okay, we can't hear you.
we're sending audio to you. The microphone is going up and
It's going to
down.
make the questions really tough.
This might be one of our best interviews yet.
It could be. Double check your audio on your side. Maybe it's on your
Make
side.
sure you guys have the volume and everything checked on your side. Because
Yeah.
we can see and hear you guys just fine.
All right, we're gonna do this real quick.
All right. Yeah, we can.
We're gonna take them off the screen for a few minutes, and as soon as send them a message and just let us know when the guys over there can hear us.
We can see.
Yeah, we can see you, but the audio, they cannot hear us. And I know I was watching our Skype go up and down. So let me just double check one thing here.
All right, Genevieve's gonna double.
All right. Yep. Can you guys hear us in the booth there in San Diego? Coming in San Diego. Dad, they're AirPods. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
We're talking right now. They're talking right now about an audio delay between the YouTube version and what they're seeing. So, but should we just peek in on them? Ready?
No, I don't think we should. Right now, we're being asked if we can zoom, and I'm not sure if zooming is something that would.
We cannot at the moment.
Volume is all the way up. He's stating right now. This looks like everything you would see in a some kind of a comedy where somebody's like got their face all the way up to the Ring doorbell and they're trying to listen in to what you're saying. That's exactly what it feels like.
They need to make sure to double check their Skype settings to make sure that is.
And I can.
Yeah. This is
why we do it live.
Why we do it live. Try plugging in the headphones.
Yeah.
See if you hear anything then, boys.
Maybe if you each put an earbud or something of that nature. Now,
Thomas Gilbert's going to join in. Hold on.
All right.
We're going to get Thomas Gilbert on instead if we have to.
Hey, Thomas. How you doing?
Thomas, can you hear us? All right. So Thomas can hear us. Yeah, you sound
we hear
sound
you just
great. Yeah, so we know that it's not. We definitely know it's not our side. It's definitely an issue with the Risleys. We have Thomas on another line. Do you now hear us, Mr. Risley? But now you've lost all your audio, Mr. Risley. A comedy of errors.
Update on my computer. It is up to 2%.
2%, Terry. Good job. Is that the computer the Risleys are using?
It might as well be.
I'm just curious.
It might as well be at this point.
Nope, nothing, Alan. We had you before for audio, but for one way. Well, just use Thomas's phone. That we know that was working.
Uh-huh.
Or Thomas's setup.
His laptop or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about That
is working.
Sounds like that.
All right.
All
Okay,
right.
that's great.
All right,
Thank
so,
Thomas Gilbert to the rescue.
Yes, Thomas seems to have things under control. So as soon as they get into position, I think we're going to we'll have a whole new look and sound by this crew.
Probably going to edit a lot of this out of the podcast.
I don't know. I
mean, I say I will, but I don't know if I really will.
All right, and in just a moment,
we got Mr. Risley and his son Thomas. All right, are you ready?
All right,
all right. Without any further ado,
so smooth.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. How you guys doing?
Good. Doing great.
Good. Excellent.
AJ, scoot on in there, buddy. We see your hand now. Give us some updates. What's the atmosphere like? I mean, we're talking about large scale tournaments getting started back up. We're talking about the Silver Series, the Pro Tour, lots of hard work. How do things feel? Alan, let's start with you. How does it feel?
I am very, very happy right now. Things are coming together really, really well. We've got a full field. Got tee times up. I pretty much got all the TD stuff squared away, Terry. I mean, you know what that's like.
What are some of the additional precautions? If TDs don't have enough work to do, what are some of the additional precautions or measures that you took, and whether they were mandated or you did them on your own? What were some of those things that you thought about?
Sure. Well, first off, we are asking players to socially distance. We have no spectators. We have no caddies. We are going to allow a scorekeeper to do UDisc live scoring. So that'll get the group size up to 5 for most of the groups, except for our feature card that will have a video crew. We're asking players to keep masks on when they're in the public areas, like around the pro shop, the check-in table, starters, tent. We're asking them to not show up more than 30 minutes before their scheduled tee time. We have a limited amount of space that we're going to allow for warm-ups. So stretch in the parking lot down on the street below before you show up. And then we've got a video we're going to put up on Instagram tonight that shows a basket cleaning regimen that we've come up with.
Wow.
We have spray bottles with Clorox bleach cleaner that will be at every basket. And as a group finishes putting out at the basket, we're going to ask them to spray down the basket to get their germs off of it for the next group. The EPA says it takes a minute to kill the germs. So that should be more than enough time for any germs to be killed. And it's always windy at Goat Hill. It's going to be sunny, so baskets should dry off. We're also going to have bottles of water and towels at the next tee. So if you want to clean the residue off of your disc, you'll be able to do that. And then we painted COVID rings around all the baskets and all the tee pads, asking players to only be one player at a time inside those designated areas. Terry Calhoun had a really cool post where he showed his Bratz course with painted lines around the rings and the tee pads. So that idea came up. No paper scorecards. Everything's UDisc Live. And no players meeting. We got a virtual players meeting. It's going to go out to the players tonight. And see you when you finish your round. And if you win cash, we'll PayPal or Venmo you.
It sounds like they've thought of everything. Now, as we all know, something's going to come up. And
of course.
I mean, that's just the way nature is. I mean, you cannot predict everything. You can't think of absolutely everything. So one of the things I'm really excited about is that this is a great test for some of our future events. I mean, this is one of the first real big events that are taking all the COVID precautions.
Yeah, that's a great point, Johnny. And that's that was a point that I made to our PDJ regional coordinator, Suzette Simons. I said, I am happy to be the first event out on the West Coast to set an example and show people how to do this the right way. Happy to do that. Happy to take on the extra responsibility of playing that role. I let the folks at PDJ know that. Jeff Spring and I from Disc Golf Pro Tour, we had that same conversation. So yeah, let's do it, and let's do it the right way.
Why did you feel like I'll say you insisted, obviously, on having the event? Is that because your passion for TDing? Is that for the opportunities for the players? Is that relationships you have from either a vendor or sponsorship perspective? Like, why were you so insistent that you wanted to make sure that you could have this event this year?
Well, okay. First, you asked me a yes or no question, and the answer is yes.
Okay.
All of those things. I mean, Terry, I've been playing disc golf for 40 years. I ran my first PDJ event in 1984. So it's kind of in my blood now. I also wanted to be part of getting things started back up again in a sane way. I wanted our local players to have a chance at those USDGC spots because we have 5 USDGC qualifier spots. If we weren't able to hold this event, I don't know when we'd give those spots out. So, that's another big part of it. Also, Innova Disc Golf and Disc Golf Values have been extremely supportive. They've helped me out with lots of logistics, and they would like to have this showcase event be able to get things started back up again.
Well, it clearly has been a very tall task, and obviously everyone that's there and going to participate
as tall as this guy next to me.
With everyone, hopefully will not only just adhere and follow all the precautions to a T, but then also appreciate the additional work that you and the staff and everyone else has to put in to make it happen. And then you're sitting right next to the champ, right? Last year's champion, and to me, it was Paul Macbeth who once said in an interview to me that he doesn't feel like he's really won the tournament until he's defended a title at it, and that's what Thomas came all the way from Canada to do. How are his odds looking? Let me ask you first, Alan. How are his odds?
Well, I tell you what. I played a practice round with him on Sunday and another half of a round last Thursday. And man, this kid throws a long way. Just smashes those destroyers out there. So, hey, as long as he keeps throwing 600 feet and straight, but then is as smart around the basket as he was last year, he's got a really good chance. But you got to do all those things. So, the goat can be tough. The goat can be windy, and there's other players that want to win. We got a nice little chunk of change for first place. So somebody wants $1,200.
Yeah. Well, especially once that converts to Canadian. All right. So Thomas and
that's like
AJ here.
2,800 toonies or something. I don't know. I don't know the conversion rate anymore.
Guys, so good to see you both. My first question for you, Thomas, would be, clearly you've been a great player. You've come up and made yourself really well known and sponsorship and all of that stuff very quickly, it feels like. Was this event kind of a breakout event for you? Is that a fair statement, or is that an insulting statement? Or do you feel like you really put your name on the...
this is definitely the event that like put my name out into the public view of disc golf. So I mean, it was huge for me. I mean, it got me bumped up a team level on Team Innova. It was the first legit coverage that really got my name out there for a lot of people to watch.
And so, AJ, maybe you can attest to this. It's been made very clear, I feel like, that distance is a huge factor and a big advantage out on this course. Does his distance over yours, AJ, for instance, I don't know, maybe he throws 10 feet further than you at most, but does his distance over yours really help him out that much?
In a few spots, yeah, for sure.
Can he find more trouble?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There are some OB greens and whatnot that can be found if you kind of try to go for certain lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Definitely had to be. I definitely had to learn to be a little less aggressive on a few holes this year.
Okay, so that kind of does lead my next question for you, AJ. How about if we've never been there and we've never seen the coverage, kind of explain the course to somebody that's never seen the property. How would you explain the course to someone?
I would say it's pretty open. If you think wooded, as far as, if you think a wooded hole is maybe 30 feet wide, this is wide open. And there's a lot of big rolling hills. We've got a helicopter outside our window telling us to call 911 if we come across a green Civic hatchback
with Canadian plates.
But that's, yeah, you don't usually have to worry about that out at the course. But what you do have to worry yourself about is the wind. There's a lot of wind coming off the ocean, and usually there's a steady, at the least 5 miles an hour, but usually it's about 10 to 12 miles per hour wind wise.
What's that in kilometers?
I'm looking for knots here. No, so did we see a video get released today and it was more AJ than most people can handle or not? Or is it just the right amount? Tell us about it.
I mean, it's that, I don't know. It's a lot. It is a lot. It's a lot.
Explain to people. I didn't get a chance to follow. I have an idea of what it is, but explain to everybody what, if they're clicking on that, what are they going to see?
Yeah. So my dad had this fun idea. He realized, there's his hand. And he realized that over the past few years, when Central Coast has been out there filming either the Challenge at Goat Hill or the Flyer Open, he's realized that I've been in front of the cameras multiple times. I think, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever times. And so he thought it would be a fun idea to compile footage of just like those 4 encounters. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. Whatever. He just put the 4 rounds together.
It's 4. It's 4 rounds, so it's 8 videos.
Yeah.
Right.
So sort of like a remix, like kind of what we had seen in the past. It was just an AJ remix.
Absolutely a remix. And quite honestly, AJ does commentary and is interviewed at a couple of points, but he cannot be blamed for any of the video content. Nor can Ian. This was my maiden voyage on Premiere Pro.
Wow.
So there are some glitches, but they're all mine. Ian did a fantastic job of, giving me some help desk work over Skype, and made video files and graphics available to me. And then we went down to his place and did the commentary. So it's been a lot of fun. Who knows? Maybe he'll pick me up to do editing in the future. I'm ready to retire from my university job, so I'm sure I can make the mortgage payment off of what Ian pays.
I
Oh,
smell
yeah.
a Risley tour.
Yeah.
Father
yeah.
and son. Father
Yeah.
filming.
Yep.
Son trying to get on film.
I feel like 2007 all over again.
Yeah, could be. We'd have to come to Terry Miller run Am World.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, make a cameo appearance. But so it was a crazy idea of mine, and I had a hell of a lot of fun doing it. And I hope people enjoy it. I'm sure AJ's mom will. And for those people who don't want to see that much of my son, well, go watch something else. But
that is
Yeah.
the best response.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Yep.
Is just you don't like it, you don't have to watch it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think Ian has been fantastic. Ian Anderson has been fantastic through this process, and it was great that we were able to drop it today in advance of this week's tournament, so we can get a little buzz going for the tournament. You'll get to see a lot of what the tournament layout is this week. Although I will tell you, there are some holes in the AJ quad video that there's one hole in particular where each player is playing to a different tee position or basket position. So it gets a little crazy to follow that. But keep in mind, I was editing in video from 4 different rounds, and I had to try to keep track of who was away.
Yeah. Well.
I know.
Yeah.
I know exactly how that feels.
Yeah.
So instead of a remix, it's a Riz mix.
Yeah,
That's what we're going to call it.
Whoa! Can I copyright that or trademark that?
It's all yours. No one else is going to use
right.
it.
Nobody else will want to use it. But yeah, and really, I'm surprised we haven't seen somebody else do this.
I feel like there's been notions or iterations of it, and I think about when I've gone to certain events and I see similar players year after year at certain events. I've thought about that for places like Throwdown the Mountain, where I'm usually on the lead card filming, and then it's usually some of the same suspects. So I've thought about something of that nature, but with you having guaranteeing magically that AJ's always on camera every year, I don't know how that happens, but
weird.
But he's got to earn his spot, unless it's
All of those were earned.
Yeah, all of those were earned. None of those were round 1.
Okay. Daddy made sure. Okay, I hear you, AJ. Don't get defensive.
There's been a little bit going back to the event. There's been a little bit of talk on the board about masks. And
the first round of this tournament, the round on Thursday, I'm on the feature card.
Oh, shocker!
There's been some talk about masks and requirements and whether or not they're needed and players. There was a big discussion out on Dixon's page today regarding that. What is Goat Hill? I don't know if you went through it exactly. What is the policy for masks at Goat Hill?
Sure. Yeah. So the policy for masks at Goat Hill is for you to wear masks when you're in a congregating public area, which for the most part is around the pro shop. And that Goat Hill is following rules that were set up by the San Diego County Health Department. So we're following those same rules when players are near the pro shop, the restrooms, the check-in table, starters tent. Masks are to be worn. Once you get out on the course and can socially distance, then you can take your mask off. And that's acceptable here in San Diego County on golf courses. So we're following those rules. And yeah, Terry, you alluded to this before. I have been merging together the San Diego rules with the PDJ rules with the Disc Golf Pro Tour rules. And so those are all moving targets. Mm-hmm. They change from day. Well, PDJ has stayed pretty much the same, but the county health department guidelines have definitely changed every day. There are different things that they ask for or that they allow. So it's been there's been a lot of overhead in keeping track of that.
When I think about some of the stipulations and the rules that are in place, like you said, I think to Wisconsin, where just a few days ago I got an update regarding one of our most southern counties and what their stipulations and rules are, and they're much more strict than where Johnny V and I are playing this weekend. Just an hour north of there. And so I'll echo what you're saying, and what I guess I've maybe said before is just be patient and realize that every county and every TD and every park department and municipality, public or private, they all have different rules and guidelines that they have to adhere to. So it's definitely not a cookie cutter mentality for all these events.
And I'll tell you, just to give you a little more insight into our situation, my work at the university is in geographic information systems, and I work with epidemiologists who use mapping of health data, in their instruction. And so I have been following the COVID by zip code data for San Diego County for the last 3 months. And I have maps that are constantly being updated with that data. And I've been in contact with an epidemiologist from University of California at San Diego, who is looking county by county at the COVID data. And so I am quite aware of what our situation is. San Diego County is one of the least infected counties in California, and the northern portion of San Diego compared to the southern portion of San Diego is has even less infection. So if it weren't like that, I would not feel as comfortable as I feel in doing this.
So talking to the two players that you have next to you, do you guys have any reservations about playing right now, or do you feel relative?
One of our players has gone off to the kitchen to chop vegetables.
Well, then we'll just talk to Thomas. I know there was a big discussion, like I said, on Dixon's page about whether or not masks are going to be required, or if they should be, or if they were. Clearly, they are not currently. But would you have an issue if they were? If someone told you in order to play you had to wear a mask, maybe with, as he has them right there,
I got
maybe
my box.
maybe other than throwing or maybe during the entire round, would you guys have any issues with that?
No, I mean, honestly, I've been so eager to get back out to disc golf that I would really do almost anything right now just to play a tournament and compete and just get right back into it. So if that requires wearing a mask, so be it.
I assume most pros are probably right along those lines as well, and that's kind of the feeling that I had gotten as well.
Yeah, I think I can speak for just about every member or every player on tour when I can say that we're all so eager to play that we'll just inject bleach whenever.
wherever it's available. Every third hole, just a fresh injection of bleach.
Every fourth hole is the hydrochloroquine.
Yeah,
and the UV light.
No, but seriously though, I mean, I'm fine with having a mask, and when it's your turn to throw, you can take your mask, you can pull your mask down and everybody just stays 6, 7, 10, 12, however many feet away from you.
Sure. And
then when it's time to walk to the next basket or the next tee or whatever, then cool, you just put your mask up if you're around other people. Mm-hmm. It's, if we kind of treat it if we treat a disc golf tournament like going to the grocery store, then I think we'll be just fine. And around here, I don't know. I mean, I know when I was in Pensacola, Florida, it was suggested to wear a mask, but in San Diego County, it's mandated that you wear a mask when you go to the grocery store. So
it's 50-50. Well, it's not 50-50. It's not mandated here in Milwaukee County or Milwaukee particularly area. You see probably, I would say, from being out and about the last few days, I bet you I see probably 60 to 70% of the people wearing masks, and then probably 30% who just, I've been in and out of hardware stores a lot lately, and that just aren't wearing masks. So it's personal preference at this point for people.
And Alan, I guess
unfortunately, but
my question to you, Alan, would be with regards to that and the mandate in San Diego. But have you mapped where people are coming from? I assume you've put some kind of vaccine that's going to track them after the event. But before they get here, have you mapped, or do you have a good idea of what does your demographic look like for where your player base is?
Our player base is mostly Southern California. We have a few NorCal players. We have a few coming from Arizona. There's one guy from Canada, but we're very California heavy.
Okay.
So players should be pretty savvy and comfortable with with what the rules are here. But they have received documentation from me that tells them already what those rules are, so that they know what the deal is. And if there's a player that doesn't want to wear a mask in the public areas, they can get back in their car and drive down the hill and head on out, because I don't want to jeopardize the event. I also don't want to jeopardize the business at Goat Hill. They're fantastic partners with us. They really enjoy having us around, and I don't want to be the guy that screws it up. So
that's very responsible.
And that's exactly what we feel like most of the TDs and most of the people who have a relationship with a lot of these parks are taking that approach, is that they don't want to be the ones that mess it up for everybody.
Now, Thomas,
it's another aspect of sustainability of the sport. Mm-hmm. We, as tournament directors and players, we've got to abide by the rules that the people who control the property set down for us. We may not like all the rules, but if people are allowing us to make use of their resources to play our game, we got to take that into consideration. There's no entitlement here. They set the rules for how I can use their property. And
and the last thing we want, like you're saying, you're just being a great advocate for the sport and protecting us all at the same time, because the last thing we need is to find out there was a COVID outbreak and it took place at an event that disc golfers were running. It doesn't matter what size or scale event. If disc golf then gets attached to a COVID outbreak, clearly, we just don't need that kind of press. So,
I'll be quite honest and frank with you, Terry and Johnny. When we were in the midst of the early COVID phase, when we really didn't have an idea of how quickly and where the disease was spreading, I had a lot of conversations with people about, I'm supposed to run this event, but I don't want to be the reason why somebody gets sick. Mm-hmm. So I feel comfortable that that's not going to happen. I'm a professional person. I'm a parent. I care about these folks that come and play in my events, and I don't want to be the reason why somebody or their family member gets sick. So I feel like we've set the event up in such a way that that's not going to happen.
Good. Now, Thomas, I got to ask you a conversation I think we had maybe earlier this year or last year. It all blends together now, but you have essentially an allotment of days that you can leave Canada and come play disc golf here in the U.S. In some ways, do you feel like you almost have a surplus now because you haven't been touring early on this year, or how does this affect your overall numbers?
Yeah, I was a little worried I wouldn't have enough days to get to the end of the tour, but now I feel like I can go all the way to November and have plenty of days left for South Florida Open in December.
Of course, it's very early still, but if things go well, how does your schedule kind of shake out for this year? Where have you taken a concession and saying, okay, well, I'm not going to be at this event where maybe we would expect you to be, but how does your schedule look?
Well, this year with COVID and everything, and having my schedule open up a little bit more, like there was a few events that like I was gonna plan on just staying up in Canada, kind of like September, October events. But I feel like with my schedule now, I can try to maybe put one or two more of those events back on the schedule. So like Maine State Championships, North Carolina Clash, there's a few events there. I mean, I know that there's the two events down in December in Florida, so it actually kind of works out a little bit. It's unfortunate that we missed the events like GBO and San Francisco and
Beaver State.
Yeah, Beaver State Fling, all those great national tours and pro tours, and also just the earlier Texas swing and stuff. It's unfortunate, but it opens up the schedule later on.
Okay. And how was traveling for you?
It was pretty complicated. So I've been very, very closely following all the border regulations and travel advisories that are between U.S. and Canada. And right now there's a restriction on travel, but certain essential workers or workers can come down. And there was an article put out a few days ago now that flying is one of those ways that they're a little more lenient on the rules of travel. So that's what I took. I had a letter from Innova saying that I was a sponsored athlete going down for events to help the marketing of their discs, and that was good enough for them.
Wow. That's really cool.
You better win.
Yeah. You better market those discs up as well as you can.
Here's one of those discs.
There you go. What is that? What kind of disc is that?
This, Johnny, is a Whippet.
A what? A what it?
A 1990 what?
No, this is a Luster Champion Whippet with the COVID goat stamp on it.
Okay.
I like
certainly
the mask on the goat. That's
yeah. So we had the original Challenge Me artwork that the folks at Disc Golf Pins came up with, and so I'll steal the camera again. So we had the original Challenge Me artwork that's now really becoming popular for the tournament. And I had a little conversation with Mark Molnar at Innova and said, hey, why don't we take that goat and put a mask on it? And he got the art department at Innova to do that tremendous amount of artwork change.
Yeah, that's a huge
6 lines.
I was gonna say those 4 lines.
Yeah, but now we have a collector edition disc.
Yeah,
and we have a few left. If anybody would like to purchase them to help.
Yeah,
bump up the
things I didn't think I'd hear this year.
the collector whippet.
No, well that, and then part B to that is, let's go ahead and put a mask on that goat. Like that's another statement I didn't think I'd hear in 2020, but
rack it up to 2020.
Here we
Yeah,
are.
but as you can imagine, the management and staff at Goat Hill, they market the hell out of the goat as an icon. And when they saw these discs with the mask on the goat, they just thought it was the greatest thing since I don't know,
since pre-COVID. Since
pre-COVID. Yeah.
Greatest thing since non-COVID.
Maybe I don't know the story, but why Goat Hill? Like why goats?
Okay. Here we go.
We don't. Just curious.
Yeah. No. So Goat Hill has been in existence as a golf course since 1952, and for many years it was in terrible disrepair. Not much grass, and it is extremely hilly. When I play, I wear my Fitbit, and it's 15,000 steps and 75 floors. So it's a pretty good workout. And
okay, we got the hill part checked.
Yeah. So it kind of got the name Goat Hill because it was like what a billy goat climbs up. That's that name has stuck. It's got some cachet to it, and the management group are longtime Goat Hill players. John Ashworth, formerly of Ashworth Golf Apparel, he now has a company, Link Soul, and he is the CEO of Goat Hill Park, and he is fantastic at marketing and iconography and all that kind of stuff. And so he loved the idea of the goat. For their logo, they have the goat on top of an O for the city of Oceanside, and 1952, which is the date that they opened up the course. We took that goat and put it up on top of a basket, and that's now our Challenge of Goat Hill logo. But
I feel like
Yeah.
we're doing a disservice if there are no goats on the property at any point.
Well, there is.
There are?
AJ Risley. I've heard he's the GOAT.
Oh, all 4 of them.
yeah, well, my guy that makes trophies for me, Hudson Elliott, I'll plug him. He has a goat, and we're in negotiations to see if he will bring the goat out for Saturday. I had been planning. We were going to have a Friday night players party when the event was going to be, 200 players plus, and we were going to hire a baby goat purveyor that was going to bring out the goats for a petting zoo. They do that. They do that for weddings when they do weddings at Goat Hill. But that's kind of going by the wayside. But we may have one goat on Saturday.
All right. I feel like there's some negotiations that need to happen. Oh my gosh. Killing it.
I
Okay.
have a mute button for you. I truly do.
Oh, Terry, you win. You win the internet.
That's what I'm here for.
Don't encourage him.
All right. So going back to, I got another one for AJ along with Thomas there. And I guess what I want to ask those guys is,
Hey.
are Thomas, are you back in, like, we'll say mid-season form? And I know we haven't been playing all this time, but where's your game at, both of you? I mean, are you guys ready to go?
AJ had the injury last year and getting over that. So where are we standing with how you feel your game is at?
Yeah, me, I've been practicing and playing a lot, relatively a lot, the past few weeks, and yeah, I mean, I've been building up a bit more distance little by little, and kind of getting the rhythm back. Trying to get. I'm getting a lot closer to like the mid-season form. So, I'm still kind of shaking off a little bit of rust and still working on fixing a few new things. But besides that, it's kind of like we're back at the beginning of the season, and we're coming off of a second off season. So my expectations are pretty low, and I'm just trying to get back to the next off season so I can take advantage of that, and hopefully by then things will be looking back to normal for 2021.
I mean, we have 2 of the most epic smack talkers on tour right here. Clearly, with AJ saying, I'm just waiting for that next off season, and Thomas, that the famous Canadian smack talker he is.
Yeah. Thomas, how's your game, Thomas?
Have you been out, everybody?
Have you been practicing, and did you feel like you skipped a beat at all, Thomas?
Honestly, I've been practicing a lot in the off season. I had like a good field, and I had my cottage property that I was practicing at almost daily. I mean, daily. So my game feels pretty good. I've definitely kept warm. I mean, it is the first tournament, so the tournament factor will always play hard on new tournaments in the beginning of the year. So, I mean, my practice round has been going good, so if I can just do that, that'd be great.
That's what everybody says, right?
Which
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. For me personally, like I took like 6 to 8 weeks off of going out to the course and playing practice rounds. So, so really, it's kind of nice to get back into like a routine of going to the course multiple days per week to practice that particular course for a tournament. So, I mean, I think there's definitely like a real, adjustment period there for sure.
We know Thomas's plans, but AJ, is your plan after this event to get up and get back on tour, head over to the DD Open and then Minnesota?
Yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to that next off season.
Well, somebody's got to give him a ride.
I mean, if it's working for Nate Sexton, then I'll just play, 3 events and I'll win each one. And
yeah, the Prius died? Is that right? And are you in the market for a new car?
Yeah, you driving a goat around? What are you doing?
Yeah, so they tried to bust the gas engine, and then the battery for the electric motor crapped out, and I wasn't having it. So the Prius is still rolling with a replacement engine and a new battery pack. So
wow,
yeah,
Neener.
Woo!
Thomas, this goes for both of you. What about the decision to ultimately cancel the 2020 version of Worlds? How does that impact you? I think AJ, you're a little more of an historian maybe than Thomas for the game, but for both of you, what's your gut reaction to that? How does that feel?
Calling you old.
My gut reaction was that it sucks. I mean, we look forward to that event each year. It's the biggest event where you can prove yourself the most, and all eyes are usually on that event. So it's disappointing that we're not going to have it, but again, I really understand where they're coming from. It'd be extremely hard to run an event that size and not have spectators and not have all these people from all these countries coming in to play this event. So I think it's a good call on them to postpone it to 2021, but it does hurt a little bit.
AJ, you've been to a lot of Worlds, so same question.
Yeah, I've been to Earth. I've been. That's the only world I've been to.
Gosh, I love that.
No, I was just gonna say, like, man, I feel so bad for all those people who were looking forward so much. All those kids, all those fanatics, all those Jomez super fans, everyone who is just looking forward so much to the biggest tournament of the year. And they were denied seeing, you know where I'm going with this? They were denied the opportunity to see Utah. I just feel so bad for all those people. Me, really, I don't care. It's just another tournament. We'll play it next year. It's fine. But man, I
next
just feel
year,
so bad for everybody who's going to miss out on.
It's going to be in Utah again.
It will be there next year. So now they just have to hold their breath.
They've got another year of anticipation.
Green iguana.
Yeah, they have to wait. Okay.
Yep.
And I'll wait too, and I'll see you there.
Yeah, you will. You'll be there.
It'll be interesting. I mean, it sucks. Yeah, no Worlds. I think there was a lot of anticipation because we already knew what was it, Mulligan's, the golf course. We already kind of knew that was somewhat established with the Utah Open, but the whole Fort course. I think there was a lot of. I think it was skepticism. I don't really think anticipation was the right word. I think it was kind of skepticism. I think there were a lot of people who were like, this course, man, it's not that great, man. It's not World's caliber.
So
it's
get a year to beat it in.
No Northwoods, right?
A year to beat it in. A year for another year for adjustments for Jade to be able to take a look,
sponsorship,
and another year to get hopefully additional sponsorship so that they can look at that course and go, all right, maybe we weren't extremely happy with this particular hole. Now we have an entire another year to make it truly what we want to make it. I don't know. Or maybe they were totally prepped for this year and they were ready to go, and next year will be identical. I don't know, but
now they can get some beauty rest.
Yes. Just
do you have a mattress sponsor?
That's what I was
Serta.
Hey! I just got one thing to say. So you asked about their games.
Yeah.
And have a nice night. We'll talk to you next. No,
and I say it jokingly when I hashtag Masters Lives Matters when I say that to Steve Rico. Nobody cares about the Masters and beyond, and we're all eligible for it.
We're all playing it.
All I got to say is I need 3 more ratings points. Three more ratings points to qualify to be able to play Jonesboro. That's what I'm going.
And that bar is set where?
Extremely low.
Okay. Well, we hope you make it to Jonesboro.
Is that 900?
Yes.
That is 900.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Call me back when you're 58.
Aren't you pals with Chuck Kennedy? Maybe Chuckles can make something happen.
I don't think Chuck runs that anymore, but
We'll just say he does.
careful.
No
more.
comment.
Okay, guys. So when this weekend is wrapped up, like Johnny just asked, you guys head over to DD. Then you guys are going to probably head up to Minnesota. Just ready to hit the ground running. New car parts, and ready to go. Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm definitely invested in the car. It's been running pretty. Definitely invested in the car, and Dynamic Discs is invested in me. So yeah.
Is Thomas riding with you in case you need a push?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna
Depends on his
Flintstones that bad
behavior.
boy. Just cut the floorboards out and start
Yep.
running.
Right. As long as his hips are rotating clockwise, then yeah, we'll be fine.
We're good.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that one.
That's-
All right.
yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the event. Is that correct, gentlemen? So you guys are less than 48 hours away. Any final things you guys will do either to assist from a TD perspective, or are you guys just dialed in, just waiting for the weekend to roll around?
Well, we've got a couple new pin placements, so there's a pickaxe with my name on it.
That's already done.
Nothing else
No,
you have
I
to
don't
do?
think. No, nothing. Nothing that me personally that I have to do. Yeah. I think really at the course there's just some OB lines that need to be set, and but yeah, dude, the disc golf season is about to get back up and running. It's pretty crazy.
Are you guys excited about the idea of swooping in, picking up a few of those extra Pro Tour Silver Series points, huh? Edging out some of the other hacks that aren't there?
Oh yeah. Those hacks, they don't know. I mean, those
where's
hacks
Paul going to get
probably-
points, right? Where?
I tell you what, to all those hacks out there that actually have points right now on the Disc Golf Pro Tour standings,
Mhm.
let me just tell you, I'm looking to get on the board with you. Hacks.
I mean,
Dang it, again, I blew it. Oh.
if AJ has to, he'll just show up to the Pro Tour finale and beg. But this weekend, he's going to have to beat the likes of Philo, Sias Elmore, Jordan Castro, Clint Kelvin, Nick Newton, AB coming out of retirement, but coming out of college.
Maybe coming out of hiding.
Yeah, coming out of hiding. How long is his hair now? I got to see this.
Oh, like at least here. At least.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
I have no idea.
I will take some photos, put them on social media. We have Max Nichols, AJ Risley, Chris Shotwell, Garrett Tapkin, Christopher Kesseloff, and then the list goes on and on.
Wow. All right.
AKA people I don't really know.
50 open competitors, and interesting, Thomas, to see you're about the 7th or 8th highest rated player. Is that what I saw on there?
Yeah, but that rating gets boosted on this course.
Oh,
I'm like a 1030 player on this course.
Nice. And in the open women, we see Jennifer Allen coming in from Gilbert, Arizona. Owen Scoggins, you have to figure that the battle is between those two. Jennifer clearly having probably an advantage with her distance over Owen, but Owen is deadly on the green. Brandy Myers and Hannah Stefanovic. I should have just stopped. With Brandy Myers.
Yeah.
But ultimately, a very fun, strong field with open women, and we have 50 open men. So I'm excited. CCDG doing the coverage. That'll be next day coverage. Is that right? AJ, Thomas, are you guys doing commentary?
No.
What?
I'm not
Okay,
sure.
well,
who's
I refused.
I'll tune in then.
All right. Everybody, all the AJ fans can tune out, but the 99% rest can come and walk and listen.
Huh.
Jeez.
Speaking of CCDG coverage, AJ and Goat Hill, bro, I've been waiting on like the back nine. Where's that? When's that going to be out? Like, I'm waiting on it, man.
The AJ versus AJ
Yeah.
versus AJ versus AJ.
It's out. It's out.
Oh, the back
I
nine
hope
is up now?
yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that earlier
Yeah.
today. Oh, okay.
Back nine gets pretty interesting. It's a fun video. It's about as fun as that shirt.
I don't know if the commentary.
It's a fun looking shirt. More fun than mine. No, but the video's fun. It's there's some interesting wardrobe choices. There's
That I don't doubt.
Commentary's good.
It's raining 1 second. It's
Yeah.
sunny the next. It's crazy.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
All
The
right.
whole space-time continuum thing.
Any bold predictions for this weekend, gentlemen, from any of the three of you?
I got one.
Okay.
I'm going to say AB's either near winning this thing or he's on third card.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
So it's all or nothing, rust or gold for AB. That's what you're telling us. Okay. AJ?
Shout out AB.
I think we were thinking about like doing bacon and pancakes on Sunday for Father's Day.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. So yeah.
You'll be cooking those up?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That's my weekend prediction.
okay.
Alan, any bold predictions?
My bold prediction, Terry, is that this will be the most watched professional A tier of the week.
Wow, that's bold.
Of course,
And the only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in terms of bold predictions of the players, no. I want to be able to wake up tomorrow. These guys are sleeping in the same house as me. But I do want to say happy Father's Day in advance to both of you.
Oh, thank you.
And to all the fatherly smashies out there too.
Excellent.
And super happy to be able to do this and get the Pro Tour started back up again.
All right. Well, we appreciate
And
it.
I will take a long nap.
Yeah, it sounds like it will be rightfully deserved. And of course, happy Father's Day to you as well on Sunday. I hope AJ makes some good pancakes and such. And it sounds like you're taking all the right precautions and obviously very diligent and very serious about everything that you're doing. And we know and trust that CCDG is going to do every bit of justice for the course and for the event and for the coverage. And it sounds like a win-win for everybody. And you guys are in like San Diego, so I don't know where
I don't feel sorry for you.
I don't know where the complaint department could be, but it's certainly not there. So we wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
All right,
we're gonna
Thomas. I was just gonna say, Thomas, AJ, thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate you guys joining us. We wish you the best of luck. If one of you wins and the other doesn't, it might be awkward. And that long car rides across the country, maybe not.
I mean,
But-
if you're just, it depends.
Depends what the SmackDown, how much it's laid.
It depends if the passenger's just polishing a trophy for about 2,000 miles. Maybe not that long, but 1,500
they
miles.
drove together to cruise last year. So
There you go.
They'll make it work. All right, gentlemen. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great weekend. We look forward to seeing it on the YouTubes, and we'll
Best
catch
of
up
luck.
with you soon. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
See ya.
Thanks.
So my question is, who's going to shoot less strokes? You or I on our courses, or Thomas Gilbert on that course?
Wow.
He has to play 3 rounds, which is a little unfortunate, but he still might beat us. But in general,
No, I don't think
No.
think he'll shoot less. No,
not for
we
all
are
3 rounds. That's for sure.
3 total rounds. Even if you averaged, we'll say 51 per round, which is a number I just made up. But if you average 50 a round, that's 150. Now we have to play 2 rounds of 21.
Correct. Which is why I'm saying Goat Hill is an extended length course, probably. What would you say, 2,000 extra feet than what we're playing, if not more?
Maybe. I guess I haven't really looked at it. It's so funny how distances of courses, unless they're in, it's probably even more than that now that you say it, but unless a course is just absurdly long, which Goat Hill very well is, I don't ever really think about the total distance of a course. Oh, geez.
Yeah, 11,800 feet
Yeah,
is what Goat
I
Hill
quit.
blue tees are. which I'm assuming is going to be. I know they said they made some changes, but let's assume it's relatively close, within a few hundred feet.
Yeah. It averages. I do recall that it averaged more than 500 feet per hole last year, and that's just someplace you will never find me competing.
Oh God, no.
Because I don't throw like Thomas, so I don't.
Well, I take it back. I could see competing there, but never. I mean, in our respective divisions.
Yeah, no, not even then. That
No?
doesn't sound like fun to me.
See, I think it would be all right. But I also think I'd have an advantage over most AM Masters.
Yeah. It says, I was just gonna say, it says the guy who's playing AM Masters this weekend, as opposed to Pro Masters. Yeah,
correct.
Okay,
And the
I
pro,
could
and,
see your logic.
And as a pro
if
master,
I was playing
couldn't
against
compete.
the junior
No, they beat
13 and
you.
under girls, I would feel a little more confident. Yes.
So you're comparing AM Masters to junior 13 and under
No,
girls? Wow.
I'm just saying if you're
This
relying
weekend,
on that.
check it out. So Thomas shot last year 57 and 58 and a 59. Do you think you can keep both your rounds this weekend under 60?
I think that would be a good feat from the little I could remember from.
So
Because par this weekend for us is what, 63?
something along those lines.
I mean, if we're playing
I don't know. I don't care.
21 holes, so just quote unquote Ironman par is 63. There's some legitimate par fours at this course, which is not normal for Wisconsin.
Brown Deer has
we have a few legit
three
par
of them,
fours.
I believe. Maybe 4.
Yeah, there's a chance that 60. Yeah, something in the 60s, low 60s seems like it'd be impressive.
I think Thomas will crush us, personally. I think he's going to...
Per round, yes.
Per round.
His average...
I'm talking just flat score.
No. He's going to shoot 160 this weekend.
No, I'm sorry. His first 2 rounds versus our 2 rounds.
Oh, yeah. No, he will definitely beat us.
He'll definitely beat us.
You more than me.
No. Coming from the guy who... How well did we do together this
Okay,
weekend?
so so we're here on Smashbox, folks.
We played a course that neither of us had ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say that I guess there's no hiding it. We tied each other over at Ben's course.
Sure.
Which was a heavily wooded course. And
Okay, just put down a bet. That's all everyone wants to hear. What is your bet that you'd like to wager for our total score come Saturday? Assuming I don't withdraw because it's raining out.
I think it's supposed to rain that night.
Either way, if it rains, I may not play.
Well, that's the way I am too, though.
So go ahead.
Because I literally looked today. I'm like, oh crap, I didn't check the weather.
Whatever you're willing to put down for a wager for Saturday, just consider me accepting that wager.
If I lose, do I have to wear that shirt?
If you could be so lucky.
Oh God. No, I'm not going to put down any wagers.
Okay, so you're going to talk trash.
I was not talking trash. I was simply asking a question.
Lay down a wager. And if I could see the damn chat board right now, I wish I could.
I can bring it up right here.
I'm sure they would love to hear it. But if you would like to lay down any form of wager, I'm game.
I don't, because I don't usually wager on events.
Okay, Pete Rose. Whatever you say.
I want to make it to the Hall of Fame. I don't want them to kick me out of the sport.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. Johnny's too scared to play in the professional division or to lay down a wager.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's all. Check it. Mark the tape.
I'm good that, guess what? You're rated 40 points higher than me.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And if I play well, I beat you.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. That's good enough for me.
Okay. That's fine.
I don't need anything exchanging hands, because odds are we're not paying off our bets anyway the way you and I are.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's why we can make it more fun. It doesn't have to be.
It could be a Culver's.
Doesn't have to be monetary.
A Culver's wager?
6 gallons of ice cream, whatever you want. Whatever you malts for a year, I'm game.
I'm good with dinner.
Okay, I'm good with that as well.
Because we'll both be done with the course. We'll meet up at one of the courses afterwards, and we'll loser buys dinner.
Okay,
because I think we're playing the same courses, just different times.
Yeah, presumably, we should be playing the exact same courses.
It's a dinner bet then.
All right, there it is.
Bring
folks.
your mask. Because I don't trust you.
I don't know if we'll be able to eat inside, but
no, we won't.
We'll see.
We'll romantically eat in the car together.
All right, guys. So again, though, thank you, AJ. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Thomas. Tech support Thomas, for being able to step in there and be able to get the Risleys online via Skype. So we appreciate that, and thank you to Alan for the insight, a little bit of history there about Goat Hill. I did not understand or know any of that history prior.
Which is why I asked, because I didn't know either. I didn't know if it was something that was more well-known or if it was just me that didn't know particularly. So... and I know you mentioned briefly on the FPO side, Jen Allen had a very, very decisive. She crushed last year.
Yeah, it might have been 28 strokes,
something like that.
Something of that nature. I know it was substantial, and we'll see what kind of challenge she has with Owen and others going up against her this year. So, good luck to all of them. Of course, we'll see how things shake out over there at Goat Hill. Outside of all of that, I don't know that there's a whole lot going on in disc golf. Your
computer's at 22%.
Yes, so it's
moving.
It's chugging along nicely.
The best part is it's going to get to like 40% when we shut down the show for the night, and you're going to have to close it, and it's not going to.
And then
it's going to crash. It'll never boot up again.
Correct. The battery won't last the rest of the time. And next week, of course, it will be more dedicated and focused on us previewing and talking specifically about the Dynamic Disc Open, which will be just then a few days away. And then when we come back after that week, we'll likely have one or more of the champions from that event join us on the following week, which then leads us right into the weekend that will take place over at the Preserve. So dare I say, these next few weeks are going to be as close to normal or pre-COVID as we've been at any point this year, and that's what we'll see over these next few weeks. And it's going to be great. Hopefully, that includes having Dynamite join us as well.
I sure hope so. I hope he gets those kids wrangled up, and I really am excited to finally restart the tour. Off-season 2.0 has been great in a lot of aspects and really cruddy in some other ones. Yep. But I'm excited that we get to kind of just reset and move forward with our passion. I think it's great.
Yeah, and part of my passion is 9.5-hour drive to
Emporia,
Kansas. I'm excited.
Hey, no one said you had to drive. You could fly there. Well, to Kansas City, and then
and then still, either way. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to close this out. We may have a brief after show to chat with you guys on the board and find out if there's anything on your minds and some conversation from there. But in terms of the nuts and bolts for what we see here for actual disc golf chatter, I think we covered everything that we needed to here tonight. Again, thank you to AJ, Alan, and Thomas for joining us. For Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and all of our gracious Patreon supporters and listeners, followers, subscribers out there, thank you guys so much for tuning in to us. We will see you in just a few minutes when we have the after show. Again, this is podcast 302. We'll see you in a few minutes when you step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the SmashBoxxTV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV's 302nd
After Show!
If you're following along during the regular podcast, update on the computers that we're at 23% on the updates for my computer.
A little bit gracious when I said you're going to get to 40% before this after
I have
show.
a feeling once it gets to like 30%, it's just going to shoot to like 90 super quickly.
Doubtful.
So maybe this will be done updating by the time I come back next week.
It's a little awkward that you're trying to update Windows Me
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Windows XP here, but hey, what you do with your computer is your business.
I just, the reason I had to do this is mainly because I didn't want to lose my MySpace profile, and that was attached
I
somehow
see.
to an old operating system.
Yes, I get
They're
it.
tied together.
I get it.
Maybe not. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. We're here in the after show. We're going to have a couple of giveaways tonight. We want to thank all of our Patreon supporters and subscribers. Johnny V was just mentioning that he's got a new list as our credits roll at the end of the show. He's got a new list that will be loaded in. I think we're going to see that probably next week.
For our Patreon supporters, I want to make sure to remind them that if you are a Patreon supporter at the $5 and up level, you should have seen a message from me on Patreon, but get me a picture that we can put on a mini over on that wall right there.
It doesn't have to be PG either.
But it should be PG.
It doesn't have to be. Depends on how good it is.
That's true.
If
No
it's
more
a-
than PG-13, please, because I have to go through these and I have to send them to Dynamic Disc to Dymax these.
I mean, if they'll Dymax, cats or peanut butter sandwiches on discs, just think of what you're going to send to them.
So again, if you're a Patreon supporter at the $5 and up level, please go ahead. If you're not and you'd like to be, you can go to patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV, or you can go to SmashBoxx.tv and check out our store. There are 2 purchases. We had somebody, I believe it was Chris Cobb, who, thank you very much for purchasing one of our 1-year support levels. So I got a picture from him. We're going to put that on a mini. It's going to go right up on the wall over there so we can have our supporter wall with our quote-unquote live studio audience.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Chris, who has always been so gracious in helping Smashboxx, helping live broadcasting, helping the Disc Golf Guy post-production action, and then TDs and does countless things in Arizona and beyond. So thank you for all the support, Chris. We really, really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. I think it was unplanned, but who knows when people are going to hear or see
Your
this.
pregnancy?
So I'll give you guys a little Smashboxx exclusive that actually does not bring me any joy or delight to share with you. But I should put together the email. You don't even know what it is, actually.
I have no clue.
I'll put together the email tonight and send it tonight or tomorrow, probably. This will force my hand to do so. So don't go spreading all over the internet. Unfortunately, if you are either signed up for or were thinking about playing in the Skyline Classic, the B tier that myself and Ryan Pilcher and Tom McManus were kind of all co-TDing in a sense, that was supposed to take place April 19th or 18th, the same weekend as Jonesboro. It's really come to the conclusion that it's going to have to be canceled for this year. In talking to someone like Alan Risley during our regular show, we mentioned how every municipality handles things a little differently. And although Johnny and I are playing in a tournament, 30 minutes from where we live right now, this municipality and this parks department, it has just different precautions and things that they're concerned with, and special permits is something that they're just simply not allowing for at least the next couple of months. And so an event that was originally scheduled in April was kind of postponed indefinitely, and now with the new timing and then fall getting insanely busy, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. So in not so good exclusive news here, I think tonight I'll be sending out an email and letting everyone know that I'm just going to have to offer up full refunds to everyone that had previously signed up, which really sucks because we were literally sold out. The event had a max capacity of 144 players on 2 courses,
That's
two
awesome.
great courses. And it got to the point where it was really sold out a week or so before the event. And of course, that's back in April. And there's just not enough weekends in the year. And there's still uncertainty. They said at least the next couple of months, they're still not issuing special event permits. We could get to the end of August and they say, okay, well, it's another month or 2. So instead of just dragging this on continuously, I think we're just going to go ahead and I want to get everyone's money refunded back to them. Some people may be depending on it or are really excited or anxious to get it back, and I understand that as well. And quite frankly, it's not doing me any good sitting in a PayPal account anyway. So a little exclusive update that unfortunately the news kind of came down today, that's going to have to be the route that we're going to go with it.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it does suck. Were you signed up?
No,
Oh, well, good. I didn't want you there anyway.
I don't think I was.
Well, good.
Maybe I did.
Eh.
I doubt
You're
it.
not getting any money then, if you did.
That's fine. That
I'm
wouldn't
keeping
shock
your
me.
money.
Wouldn't shock
You
me.
were going to sponsor unknowingly. All right. Looks like we've got a giveaway here that we can do tonight.
We do.
Is that what I understand here, Johnny?
That's usually what we do in after shows.
All right. Well, we've got some stuff. I've been digging through storage. You're not getting a Get Freaky Crystal Flex Zone, and you are not getting a 4-time Paul Macbeth Zone or even a 4-time ESP Buzz. You're not getting any of those. Those are all way too expensive. As the internet continues to get loud and
well, my understanding
crazy
was
over those.
the Get Freakies were released a couple days ago, yesterday, the day before, and Discraft site kind of took a dump, we'll say. It
did what I feel like every site for every sellout of Disc Golf or other just either shut down
it can't
or
it couldn't handle, and they're not, and it's not, I'm not picking on Discraft because it happens to virtually every disc manufacturer that puts out some sort of exclusive hyped up disc, that it tends to just, everybody hits it at once, it bombs out the site, people get upset that they had theirs in the cart and then they couldn't check out, and it crashed, and it made me reload, and then when I went back there was like 3 discs and I didn't like any of them and the colors and blah 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 blah. And I get everyone's frustration, but at this point everybody knows you have to expect that that's going to happen. Like, you just it's unfortunate, but I'm it's hard for me to feel sympathy.
Well, it's because you didn't care about the item.
I care about almost no items, but
exactly.
But that's just me. It's only because it's expected. Like, if I were going into one of these purchases thinking, oh man, I really hope I get this disc, and the site crashes out, all I'm thinking is, yeah, typical. Bummer. I hope somebody got it. Now, it kind of just goes to the mentality of what I think we've talked about before, that these discs are under high demand, and some of them, and there's got to be a better way. Because if you truly, and I don't know if they were limited to 2.
Oh, yeah. They
3,
this
4.
time had limited the release. For those that don't know what we're talking about, it was yesterday at least 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. Their Discraft had reloaded to the site, or was putting up some, I believe they're Crystal Flex Zones that have the Get Freaky stamp on them as a Brodie Smith disc. Clearly, lots of people excited about them, lots of resellers excited about them, and everywhere in between, from really impassioned fans to really overly excited flippers, and everywhere in between. And dare I say, that's pretty standard. And at least for me, 1 or 2 minutes prior to that time frame, the site for me had crashed, said timeout, nothing would even come up. Some people, of course, got to the point where, like you mentioned, they got into their cart. It said something about adding to cart. Oh, there's 5 in your cart. You go to hit checkout, and then it stalls on you, and it hangs out there. And then, of course, there were more than a handful of people that were able to actually process their transaction and then immediately run to all of the other pages and gloat that their transaction went through.
I am 100% okay with gloating.
Sure. And that's fine, because, again, no lives were lost over the idea, and to agree with what you're saying, there's no lives lost over the fact that you didn't get a Frisbee, okay? I understand somebody could be really, really excited or feel like they really need one, which you don't. Life's going to go on.
Dan Ginter said there was a limit of 5.
There was a limit of 5 per person.
That's 3 too many.
5 per person is what the limit was. And here's the funny part about it, from my understanding. This was a color release, and the fact that there's been blue ones released, and these are the Day Glow yellow or green ones that are being released.
Okay.
I'm thinking you're going to continue to see various just colors of them released and whether they do it in the same fashion or capacity, I don't know. The disc is already out. There's other ones that have been out, and now they're just simply releasing them in a different color.
Dan says, I feel kind of crappy, but I got my 5. Hashtag humble gloat. Don't feel crappy.
Yeah,
Not at all.
I don't think you should. I don't have a problem with that.
I
mean,
would.
clearly some people got them. And a lot didn't.
I mean,
It's not your fault.
we've gone through this discussion, but I would feel crappy for you if you got 5 of them and then turn around and try to flip 5 of them. Like, to me, it's gross.
Wow, gross is the word.
It's gross. That's
Because
now,
you don't believe in capitalism or supply and demand.
No, I do believe in that. I also believe in the fact that, like, people more or less scalping discs is gross. Like, that's why, to me, you limit them to 2. Period. Like, virtually every major release should be limited to 2 discs. 1 for me to throw, 1 for me to put on my wall. Or if you want to flip one, fine. But if someone's going to go out and buy 5 of them and flip all 5 of them, or even buy 5 and flip 4 of them, to me, that feels gross. I would rather see the manufacturers find some better way to distribute it to the real fans that want them, rather than, as I said, having people who just happen to be available at 2 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon or Friday or whenever the hell it was, get them and turn around and sell them at 10, or we'll say they probably sold for 25, sell them for 3 to 4 times the value of what they are, and then again see Brody or Simon or Paul see none of that, as opposed to just having someone flip them. Find a better fucking way, manufacturers, because you're really pissing people off at this point. And it's not me, because I don't care. I literally don't care about any special discs. There is not a special disc that can be released right now that I would walk a block out of my way to get.
Yeah, because you're not a collector.
Because I'm not a collector. Mm-hmm. But you are making so many people upset. Find a better way to get these out to the people that truly want them.
I mean, couldn't that be said of almost literally every product on the planet?
Yes.
Like,
any
have
limited
more
product.
Super Bowl tickets available.
Any limited
have more
product.
concert tickets available. Have more iPhone 29s available.
Yes, and there are people that are going and doing that. Like concert tickets, they are selling to that's why you have pre-release to fans only. That's why you have things like that. Like, it is just to me, the manufacturers are falling on their face, and they are getting worse and worse reputations from people who truly just like, I want one. Like, if you're a huge Brody Smith fan and you're like, man, I just wanted one, but I don't want to pay $75 to $100 for this disc. And I don't know what they're going for. I'm guessing if they were sold for 20 to 25, that's probably what they're flipping them for.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they can vary depending on,
of course, color, stamp, all the stuff, the weight. It's just, to me, there has to be a better way. Now, if I get my 1 or 2 and want to flip them, fine. But when people are taking up I would say a chunk of them to flip them, that's where I have an issue. Try to get them out to your fans. Brody has a Discord. Put early releases out onto his Discord or their Patreon supporters. Guess what? Your Patreon supporters, you get the first buy at them. And it's limited to 1 or 2. And then guess what? If you want to, or if Simon, let's say the next Sky God disc, Simon has a Patreon. Cool. Get those people. Those are your fans. Those are the people that are supporting you because they love you. Those are the people that should be the first ones to get your disc. Those are the people that you release it to them first. You give them a special code. They get to log in a day early and say, cool, you are limited to 1. If you want more than 1, come back tomorrow when the general public gets them. But people are literally just okay. And I understand capitalism. I understand that supply and demand. The problem is it's all artificial in general. But it is like it makes me feel gross as a disc golfer, and it makes me look at these manufacturers and just kind of be like, like, cool. And guess what? As I've always said, these discs that everyone's begging for, in 2 months they're going to be regular releases, and everyone will have. Anyone that wants one will get one, but it's they're.
But maybe not.
but maybe not, and that's the thing, and
I
that's
mean,
the other thing that makes,
there's something to be said about limited release if it remains or stays
if
as
it
a
remains
limited
that
release.
way. And that's the other thing that
And then
bothers me sometimes is when they say limited release, and then later on you see, oh no, they came out with these exact same things months later, but then oh yeah, but I got the limited one. It's like nobody cares, but I get it all.
But I don't know that you do, because then also you're flying in the face of collectability, true collectability.
Yeah.
In the terms of,
and I'm okay with collectors.
If somebody wants a highly coveted item that may not be produced or released in mass production, and you truly have one of 2,000 that were ever made, there's going to be a value that's associated with that.
And I'm good with that. I understand that. Like when
but
you release,
can't say that you want your biggest fans or you want the diehards to get it, because 2,000 might not be enough. What if there are genuinely 19
if there are 19,000
Brody Smith fans
and only 2,000 get them, as long as they go to 2,000 Brody Smith fans, I'm okay. But when they go to, and I'm just going to throw you under the bus because you're next to me.
That's fine.
Because I know you for the most part, you don't.
For the most part, largely
disagree
disagree with what you're saying.
So if you're not a Brody Smith fan, and I know you are, if you bought 5 of them and flipped 5 of them to Brody Smith fans, I think that's gross. Like, cool. You just ripped off, not more or less soaked. I won't say ripped off. You soaked 5 people that would have rather gotten it, but because you for whatever reason got the jump on them. Maybe they couldn't get them in time, or maybe they tried and their website, their internet connection wasn't as good as yours. If you're not a Brody Smith fan and you turn around and soaked 5 Brody Smith fans, that's gross. That is just gross to me. Now, if everybody, again, if you're a Brody Smith fan and you get 5 of them and keep them, fine. If you keep 1 and flip 4, again, that to me that's okay. If you are for some reason supporting Brody and you find a way to get in that, if you want to be and I'm just using Patreon because it's the method that a lot of people here are using. You want to be a Patreon supporter of all these people monthly in order to get access to these limited releases. Cool, go for it. Like, I think in the long run, you're going to end up losing money.
Yeah, which is another layer of administration that may or may not be easy, but okay.
Agreed. But I would rather see that. I so much rather want to see the discs in the hands of the people who, the fans, or even legitimate collectors, than people who are just getting them to flip them to make money. Like,
and do you feel like things like I'll use an example of eBay. eBay is soaker territory. You use the term soaked. So eBay,
it depends
eBay
on
is
the
what
product.
you would consider soaking someone. So if
I
have a product or if I have an item or somebody wants my cracked screen,
no, not at all.
Google 3 pixel, and I put it on eBay, and 3 weirdos love the Google Pixel XL with cracked screens, and they jack this up to $900. Am I at that point soaking them?
No, it's not a product that's probably in manufacture. It's older. They had months and months to maybe find one. Now they need one.
So are they even dumber?
Not necessarily. It depends what it is. eBay, you can obviously.
It just feels like you get to pass judgment and throw a lot of subjectivity on things that are 100% nothing more than subjective according to your numbers.
Yes. That's my job.
That's
why I have a microphone. I mean, it's
I get it.
Here's my question, Terry. Would you rather see 2,000 hardcore Brody Smith fans get those 2,000 discs, or would you rather see it the way it is and say, cool, anyone can get it? Maybe half of those people get it, but the other half have to pay 3 to 4 times what they pay, just because they're not as savvy or unlucky or whatever. Which, if you had your preference, what would you take?
I'm totally fine with whoever gets them gets them.
See, and I would rather them find a better way.
I'd love to know where you, on your wall, if you're going to paint it and say, okay, well, you're a level 1 Brody fan.
Yeah.
You don't get a disc. You're a level 2 Brody fan because I think you dream about him. You're a level 3 Brody fan. Guess what? You get 2 of his discs, but a level 2 guy only gets 1 of his discs. And if you're a level 5 Brody fan, because I make up some arbitrary way of determining you're a level 5 Brody fan, then I think you get 5 of his discs.
And
there's nothing but subjectivity there that you're throwing out.
That's what needs to be determined. That's what we need to find out. Like, you're either it's A or B, 1 or 0. Find a way to get your fans your discs. Like, again, I don't care how it's done. I don't care if it's Patreon. I don't care if it's Discord. I don't care what it is. I would so much rather see people who truly want the disc get them first. And then if there's extra, cool, sell them out. But then as opposed, which as we know, there rarely is because people buy them up so fast, as opposed to people buying them just to flip them. Like that, again, that to me I think is gross. Okay. And that's just me.
That's fine.
I would rather see true fans find a way to get the discs first. And guess what? If they're sold and in 3 months, 4 months, or even 2 weeks, people turn around and be like, want to sell them, like, okay, that's fine. At least somehow you made the determination that the people that want them the most get them first. As opposed to the people that want to flip them the most.
Can someone change their mind?
Sure, I'm sure there's.
There's
never going to be 100%.
Could I buy 5 of them because I really like Brody, and then find out in 6 months that he did something so egregious that I can't stand him, and therefore I need to get rid of anything and everything related to Brody, and now I want to get rid of those 5 discs? Can I change my mind then?
Sure.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Will I have to seek out a super fan to sell them to? Or is there going to be a restriction of where you want me to sell those to?
I don't care at that
point.
point.
Now you don't care. So
again, I'm talking
6 months later, it doesn't matter.
No, I'm talking initial disc sales. Like, cool. Again, find a way. Like, and it could be really difficult.
There could be 50,000 diehard. I love you, Brody Smith fans.
Then limit it to
only
one
3
disc.
And there could
limit
be 300
it to one
discs.
fucking disc.
What if there's What if there's only 300 discs released?
Too bad.
Then 49,700 people are disappointed.
Then that's a problem again with the manufacturer. Okay. Like, I'm sorry, but if there's 47,000 people that want the disc and they're only limiting to 300. Then either the manufacturer specifically is trying to limit for collectability, which I'm okay with.
But are you? Okay.
Yes, I'm okay with that. As long as those 300 somehow find a way to go to people,
level 5 Brody
to people who want them.
Okay.
As opposed to people who want to flip them.
Okay. I hope you have this much moral high ground when you buy every single stock, and you don't let somebody else not buy a stock because you want to buy a stock. And damn, you better not be buying a stock so that you can sell it later.
Stocks aren't exactly limited.
They're not exactly. But my point is, like, I think it's funny
it's a false argument.
You think it's that you get to determine who the biggest super fans are,
it's
and
not
then
me.
what they get to do with it.
I'm saying somebody has to find out a better way to do this, as opposed to just making it this free for all and allowing the secondary market to flip all these discs. I just want to find a way to get people who truly want the disc to get the disc without being soaked, without looking at it and going like, oh man, like, cool. I guess I guess I'm going to have to pay 3 to 4 times.
Nobody has to pay for anything.
No, nobody has to.
Nobody's dying if they don't get a free
100% agree.
So right there, I think we have to put some perspective here that nobody's going to go without. Nobody's going to fall over if they don't get their hands on one of these. Like, let's talk about what's needed in the first place here. I think that's maybe another issue to look at.
1,000% agree with what you're saying there. Nobody needs plastic, regardless of anything. Like, nobody needs any first run this or that. Nobody needs anything. But again, so if you're not going to do it, limit it to 1 disc. 1 disc per person. If you want to buy another one, get back in line. That will help prevent people from flipping plastic, from buying a bunch of them, because either they're going to keep the one they got, or they're going to flip the one they have. But guess what? You're going to give more people the opportunity to buy them than if you release 2,000 discs and 500 people buy 4 discs apiece, or 400 people buy 5 discs apiece. Which then, at least this way, you're giving probably close to 2,000 people a chance to buy the disc. I would 100% rather see that. 100%. If you can't figure out a better way for pre-releases, then make it limited to 1. That's
I hope I don't lose that one. I'm the biggest fan in the world.
I hope you don't.
And I'm rated 800, and I went out and I threw my Get Freaky into the lake on the first hole, and then an alligator bit off my face.
If you're that big of a fan, maybe you don't throw it. Maybe you collect it.
No, I'm a big fan. I have to throw his disc.
Cool.
Every hole, every throw.
Good, then you take that risk.
He told me on Discord I have to throw his disc on every throw, on every hole. Otherwise, I'm going to fail. So, all right, guys. Well, I'd like to know, how many Get Freakies do you guys want to buy from me? I've got a stack of them.
I don't care if you did, because right now it's a free for all, and that's the way it is, and I get it. I just think there should be a better way.
Yeah, dis only to people that are their biggest fans. That's an interesting. It's a
not only start with them. Start with them. Give
and
them
if you
first shot.
transitioned from level 1 to level 5 super fan in the last week, you're SOL.
No, you're automatically.
You might have missed it.
Right now, you're adding like weird layers and tiers. I'm saying find a way.
You get to make up numbers, so why can't I?
I'm saying find a way to get them to the people that want them right now,
because they need them the most.
Because
they're the biggest fans.
Because they're the biggest fans. Because they're the people that want them. Not the again.
Have you ever
not the
been
people
shut
that
out of
flip.
a concert that you really wanted to go to?
Of course.
But if you're going to a concert, I know you're a fan.
Yep.
Like you're a bigger music fan than most.
Yeah.
Live performances specifically.
Yep.
And you've been shut out of a concert.
Mm-hmm.
Were you wronged?
No.
But you're a big fan.
Sure.
Don't you think
And
you should have been able to go?
No, not necessarily. Because odds are, guess what? They probably had a pre-release for maybe the people in their fan club that got the first options. And again, those are usually limited to 2 or 4 seats that you can buy. So guess what? If I'm not part of that fan club and I didn't get first option, that sucks. I didn't get a chance to get in. Oh, there's general release. All right, cool. Because all the big fans got their chance. All the people that support that band, that are part of the fan club, that maybe pay their dues every year, the $12 to be part of the Pearl Jam 10 fan club, got the first option at them. And now there's a lot more out there. And if I didn't want to be part of that, bummer for me. Or guess what? The last concert I got shut out of was a tiny little place over off in the 3rd Ward. I walked over there, walked over there, tried to buy tickets at the door, and they were all sold out. But guess what? Every one of the people that bought tickets there that day before me went to that show because they were fans as well. They didn't turn around. They weren't sitting outside trying to flip that ticket because it was a day of sale. And again,
that's convenient.
It is. It's guess what? It's unfortunate. Like that's
So
that's the way this particular concert worked. It was a smaller band, more local. You can do that. That particular situation doesn't necessarily equate to what we're doing as opposed to general concert ticket sales. Like that's just the way it is. And and again, if the person who's a big fan right now in 6 months says, "Oh wow, I really can't stand that guy. I'm gonna sell my disc." Cool. I have no problem with that.
6 months have gone by, so then you're good with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I don't think
as long as you're part of some elitist snobby club that makes you first have direct access.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's called a fan club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or it could be a scalp club. I mean, like,
sure.
You could get into that with the sole
of course
intention
which is
of
why
saying, hey, I'm going to get into their secret
which
club.
Which is why you limit them.
I'm going to get into this secret club because this secret club only is the place where I can get pre-sales. So even though I don't care about this person or this band, I'm going to get into the secret club. So at least I can get access to their items first.
Or, as I said, if you don't want to do that, jack up the price of the discs. Start selling them for $75 a piece. See who buys them. If they don't sell out, next week we mark them down to $50. See who sells them.
Yeah, no, I mean...
We talked about this. We went through this before, and we're not about to go into this particular argument again. But I see where the demand is.
So only the fans that have money can then buy them.
Yeah, well,
okay.
I mean, that's what's getting them right now.
Not necessarily. I mean, there could be somebody that has no money or that only has $20 that buys them now.
Ultimately, I think the biggest thing that the manufacturers can easily do right now with literally a click of a button is just limit the number of sales per person. Limit them to 1. Spread it out.
Yeah.
That's the way you get the discs in the hands of more different people, which is what I want to see the most. Because that will not only will that maybe even make them more collectible for some people if you can only get 1, as opposed to people hoarding the discs and then buying them just to turn around to sell them. I think truly the limit on the number of discs, limit them to 1 or 2, and that's it, and see where it goes from there. That is what I would rather see. That would be step 1 for me. And then step 2, if you can, find a way to do some sort of pre-release for fan club members,
sell out,
which could also sell out. Sure, yeah. Do I feel bad if someone wanted to buy 4 of them and to flip them and they didn't get them, and now they can't make money on flipping discs? Not one bit. Not as bad as I look at someone who says, "Cool, I'm a Simon Lizotte fan club member." Or whatever you want to say, Patreon fan club, Discmania super secret sales fan person, and they get the first options at them. I get that. Now, I think there should be a value to that. I don't think that should be like just something you can sign up for free, because then it's really truly no different than just a wholesale club. I think you have to put a monetary value on that to limit the people that truly want to be part of that. And that's,
or people that just are willing to pay that,
or
amount.
people that are willing to pay that in
and
hopes,
still completely circumventing your intentions,
possibly
by just doing it in a different monetary value.
And here's the way I look at it. If you're willing to, we'll just say let's make up a number. Each one of these clubs is $50 a year. Are you willing?
The Simon Fan Club. Let's throw a specific one on here.
Okay, the Simon Fan Club is $50 a year.
Okay.
Who's willing to spend $50 a year for every player? I'm sure there'll be a few people.
Maybe. For
a Simon, a Paul, a Brody, a Hannah.
The rich fans, sure.
Yep. And you're clearly the biggest fan.
Mm-hmm.
You can afford to do that, and you get first shot at it. And you get a limited number, and that's how it works. Again, just trying to spread it out to the more people that want them, get them on the initial sales.
Very noble of you.
I just think it's the best, because I believe right now people look at the manufacturers and go, wow, their website crashed. Or, man, I didn't get mine. And now they're going, literally before the sale is over, people are flipping them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people look at that and go, well, that sucks. Like, I'm still trying to get mine. I can't even get them. And someone's now turning around and trying to sell 2 to 3 of them or something. I think it looks bad for the manufacturers. Not necessarily the players, but the manufacturers, because they're allowing this to happen.
Like it does for comic book sales, like it does for Nike, like it does for everyone else that has a limited first release of something.
Sure.
You think it looks bad for the manufacturers that there's a limited supply.
I think it
and
can.
only certain people get their hands on them.
I think it can.
Okay.
Yeah, as Disc Baron says, first world problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
There's
nobody needs plastic.
Yeah,
at all.
Of course. I couldn't echo that enough. I mean, people we're all having a discussion about $30 and $40 and $80 frisbees or $100 frisbees.
100%.
When I fully realized $100 could supply enough water to an entire family in Africa for an entire year. Like I'm the first.
Yep.
I certainly understand that. I'm just putting my perspective on what I feel like is the situation at hand here and now in our neck of the woods, so to speak. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, just like I told someone the other day that was talking to me about some discs, they were from yesterdecade. They had reached out. We went back and forth about a few discs or frisbees, so to speak. And he clearly had a past of, the late 90s, early 2000s where we had crossed paths. And he said, with regards to a specific disc.
Wow, it's really...
Yeah, no, it's moving. I told you it was going to shoot up. With regards to a specific disc, I said, I remember when Barry Schultz was offering or willing to pay $30 for a San Marino rock. And I thought that was crazy. I was in college. This was the late 1990s. And I thought it was crazy that he was willing to pay that much for a single disc. And think about how times have changed, of course.
Yeah.
There are discs that haven't even arrived at your doorstep, that haven't even come off the assembly line. And we have people paying $30 or $50 or $80 or $100 or whatever the absurd numbers can be. And also back in the late 90s, we literally had, like one kind of plastic, what is now known as DX. We had like one kind of plastic for the most part. And so clearly times have changed. Things are crazy. And the fact that, these discs sold for They were $20. The Get Freakies, for instance, were $20.
20, not 25. Okay.
And then, before people even have them, they're obviously pre-selling them or reselling them or whatever. And they're going, and I'm the first to say it as well. It's crazy to me that last year, you and I bought from Discraft all of the Macbeth series that were released. I'm a vendor.
Yeah, I've got a stack of them over there.
And for the longest time, no one cared about the 4-time claw, the 4-time zone. And right now, those same exact zones that have been sitting in my storage for a year, which I think makes your grace period, those same exact 4-time zones that nobody wanted last year are now going for $80 to $100 to $200 right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's all part of, I'll say, the collecting game.
Yep.
That's all part of sales and resales. And that's where I have a hard time saying who's going to dictate how that needs to unfold.
And I don't care about the free market or the second market nearly as much. I care about the first sales. I care about the first sale, the first initial sale release. Trying to distribute that to as many people as possible. Like, again, I know it's hard to get a concept of your biggest fans. That is not an easy thing to do. But again, number one.
When did it become about the fans?
Limit the number of sales per person for these exclusive releases. For limited releases, limit them so that it prevents people from buying multiple ones and flipping them. You want to buy that one and flip it? I don't care. I really don't.
So
if you want to buy
one's okay to
one
flip,
is okay.
Two's not. Gotcha.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's fine.
If just like 5's not, 10's not. Do you think here's a question. Let's flip it the opposite way. Should there be a limit then? Why not let Discraft let you buy 100? If you're the first one to sign up, cool. There's a limit of 200. I got all 200. Come to me, baby. Why not that then? If 5 is your number or 10 is your number, why not let someone just buy them all?
I think it is relative to the amount overall that's being released. I think if someone's going to release 20,000 discs,
no, it's the free market, baby.
If someone's releasing 20,000 of an item, I think those quantities can increase. That happens all the time. There's no big deal with that. Discmania today sent out an email and said, we're releasing X amount of discs. Your limit is 20 per stamp. Okay. That was their limit, and that's relative to how many they're releasing.
Yep.
Innova, for instance, may release a Protostar stamp some new disc. Let's say there's 10,000 of them. At first, they say, there's a limit of 25 or 50 of these that vendors have first rights at. Mm-hmm. So they're, again, putting it on some kind of a scale there. If there's only 200 Get Freaky zones and you wanted to say limit it to 1 or 2, I was never arguing about that limit. I'm good with that limit. What I find really subjective on your part is that when you're putting out these limits, you think it's not okay to flip 2, but it's okay to flip 1, like where your numbers are coming from.
Again, these are just guesses as far as numbers go. I'm saying limited releases. Just if you know there's going to be a huge demand for them, or you assume there's going to be a huge demand for them, limit it to 1. There's no harm in that. There's zero harm in that.
Oh, there's an environmental harm. You got to package and ship a disc, send it to someone. Oh, you're just going to shrug your shoulders at that?
I am just going to, because guess what? The number of discs that these companies send out,
mm-hmm.
if let's just say you're limited, you buy, or they run 2,000 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're telling me there's no environmental impact on sending 2,000 individual discs than sending
400 5-packs?
Yes.
Of course
there's a massive environmental difference. It may not mean anything to you right now, but it's a legitimate thing.
Sure.
Okay, but you want to dismiss it, and that's fine.
So what's different? Everyone buying 1, or people buying 5 and flipping 4 and then resending those out? Ultimately, it makes zero difference in the long run. You're probably, odds are, if you're buying 5 of them, a portion of people are using those to flip them. We've seen it on the free market. We've seen it on the collector spots. We've seen it on the raffle thing. I'm sorry, the waffle things. We've seen it on eBay. I don't know if anyone really uses eBay much
Oh,
anymore.
yeah.
But,
Oh, yeah.
But in general, Facebook,
Tom McManus, we got you.
they're going to get turned around and reshipped anyway. So honestly, just there's no harm. Now, is it more work for Discraft? Probably.
Absolutely.
But guess what? You can make that adjustment in the price. Everyone pays for shipping. I mean, that's the way it works. I mean,
yeah, I mean, in your route, we're continuing to help save the post office because now we're using.
That's right.
Unless they use
Saving the post
UPS,
office.
now then
Well,
then we're not helping the post office.
yeah. All I'm saying is that I've seen it on the internet. People are getting pissy.
Of course they are.
At the way things are going, and it's
Of
getting
course they
it's
are.
getting worse.
You think you have any magic solution that's going to please everybody, or only Brody's biggest fans?
No, limit it to one. That will. I guess what? I guarantee you that cuts down all the complaining by at least 25% to 75%. Because at least then.
That's my favorite statistical
Sure.
line ever.
Yeah,
I guarantee that cuts down all of the complaining by
20
at least 25 to 75%.
Because
One of the most outrageous
that made it fair.
lines ever.
That made it fair for everybody right there.
Unless my son's a Brody fan, and now we only have one disc between the two of us.
Bummer.
Well, who cares?
Well, get on another laptop. Get on another laptop.
No, he's not old enough to have a PayPal account.
Well,
who cares?
Have your wife do it.
See?
There-
Okay,
But
that's fine.
Limiting
It's
them,
fine.
I think, limiting them to one is the smartest and best solution for the disc manufacturers right now.
I'm not even disagreeing with that.
I know.
I think I disagree with a lot of your other philosophy that supports where
And
you're
if you
arriving at
if
it.
you want to flip one, fine, get your one and flip it. Like
You're okay
that's-
with that.
I am 100% better with that than I am with someone
flipping two,
buying
those sons of
buying
bitches.
multiple ones
Flipping
just to flip
two.
them,
Yeah.
or buying multiple ones and flipping a portion of them.
If you flip two and you dare put those dollars into your child's savings account, or you replace an air conditioner, or you buy the new parts for your car, or you donate it to the Black Lives Matter movement, damn you.
Yes.
Damn you.
Yes. Damn you.
Okay.
You're a horrible person.
Clearly.
You are scum of the earth.
Do not buy two discs with the intent to flip two of them.
I don't care what people do right now. Like what is available to do right now?
Okay.
Go ahead and
What do
and
you
do
mean
it.
right now?
Like if
Like these sold out yesterday.
Yes.
Let's put this in perspective.
yesterday. Guess what? If you have the chance to do it, fine, go ahead. I'm saying I'm not so much blaming the person as I am the manufacturers.
Oh.
Because people are going to do what they're going to do to make money. And that's I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a free market.
Yeah, what kind of system do you live in that you're going to tell me how I can make money?
I don't care how you make money.
Even if I'm not a big fan?
Even if you're not a big fan, I don't care. I'm blaming the manufacturers at this point. Like it is their job to make their customers and fans happy for these particular players. Now, again, I think this comes down to a lot of limited edition. Usually it revolves around a particular player. Like if Innova is releasing a first run, we'll just say a brand new disc. I don't know, the first run speaker. I don't like, 'cause I'm looking at my speaker up there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sell it to your wholesalers. Sell it to those people. I don't care. Those are the people who are they're the ones who have been selling your discs for a while. Here's a good question. Would you feel bad if suddenly Innova was releasing a brand new set of discs and you've been a wholesaler for 20 years, but suddenly they said, hey, guess what? We're only going to sell it through, like I talked about, we're only going to sell it through our store.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Which they do from time to time. They put up special release
Of
discs
course.
that are only available directly to consumers, which we beat that to death a few months
We
ago,
did.
which you think is the only way, which is not why you're ripping on manufacturers for not selling correctly in this sense either, but you don't want them selling to distributors or wholesalers.
I never said that. I said I think they could. I think they could.
No, you said get rid of. I think your exact words were get rid of the middleman.
I said you could get rid of the middleman.
I think you said get rid of
You
it.
can get rid of the middleman and sell directly to your customer.
Uh-huh.
I don't,
but only in the way you want and only one at a time.
I don't care.
Yes, you do.
If they go to wholesalers and people who will sell them at
you don't think they
events
should be.
I don't really care that much about those. Like, again,
Okay, somebody check the tapes.
But again, you're a wholesaler. You've been an Innova wholesaler for
Yep.
15, 20 years now.
Yep.
If they released a bunch of discs and somehow you were cut out of that, you have a problem.
They're doing it right now,
Yeah.
and
You're not cut out of anything. You just have to
no,
pay full
no.
price usually.
well, I mean, what's the? I mean, I'd
Yeah.
have to go on their website and order them just like you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're
But
currently.
those usually aren't sold at giant bulk prices. Like when you order from Innova wholesaler, you can order 50 to 100
Correct.
discs.
Okay.
The ones that are usually sold on those stores are usually limited to, like we've talked about, 4, 5, maybe 10. That type, because they are an exclusive type release. They're not a general.
They have some discs right now that are a general release that they do not make available for any kind of wholesale discount to their vendors. Do I love it? No, because I'm a distributor of theirs, and so of course I don't think I love it, and I would venture to guess 0 of their people love that as vendors.
Sure.
Of course I don't love that. Why would I?
Yeah.
I'd like to order them at a wholesale price.
Okay. So you think it's unfair?
I don't think unfair. I don't like the policy. I mean, at the end of the day, it is their company.
Yep.
So they can choose what they want to do with how they want to sell or market their products. I feel like they're doing some of their vendors a disservice by not offering them to me and others, but they're doing it for their own reasons. I can choose not to carry their products.
Of course.
So, is it fair? I have a hard time with the word fair in that
fair,
case.
Fair is fair is
Do I like
subjective.
it? Of course not. Again, 0 of their vendors like it. 0. You could call up all 10,000 of their vendors
I'm sure they do,
and say, hey, do you like that we're selling this exclusively on our website and you can't get your hands on it? I think there would be 0 yeses that say they like that.
I know, and I know we talked about it weeks ago, and I said, cool, they could do that with all their discs.
They could.
And completely cut out the middleman.
Absolutely. They absolutely could.
And I'm not saying they should could or would, but I'm saying they could.
Well, yeah. You're right.
Yeah. And I would have 0. And
Of course
the
you'd have
discussion-
0
I'd
problem
have-
with that. Again, you're not the middleman.
Yeah.
You're not a person that also goes into a local pro shop to buy discs. You're not that guy. If you were, you may really dislike that. You're not the guy that you're not in a standard consumer situation because of who you are and the history you have. So you're not that guy.
Correct.
If you put out a business, we'll say a Glide. Let's use a Glide from Madison, Mike Batka, who runs a very successful pro shop in Madison, Wisconsin.
Good guy.
Who stocks thousands upon thousands of discs from all the major manufacturers. If you can't go into that shop, or that's your main place to go get discs, like that's the disservice you're now doing to those customers, because those customers would have to go to Dick's Sporting Goods or to the Walmart or somewhere else to hopefully then go look for their plastic, or they would have to order online. And they couldn't go to an established brick and mortar, a knowledgeable, great place that's located right across the street from a park. So yeah, I think it's fair that a lot of people would think that sucks.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think it would suck too. I would not want to see someone like Badka or yourself or anyone go out of business. I'm just my argument was that Innova could do it, and there's nothing anyone could do about it. And they could make a ton more money that way. Of course, there's all sorts of extra additions that you're adding into that as far as management and people and all those type of sales. Like that was our discussion weeks ago. But
yeah, and I think if someone checked the tape, I'll use the term. I think you didn't say could. I think you said should. You said get rid of the middleman. I'm pretty sure where the terminology there.
I think you said you could get rid of the middleman. I don't necessarily think you should. I again, you and I have always said I'm not here to tell people what they should do. I can give them suggestions. I can tell them what I think could happen, what would maybe make things and people happier. No one should do anything we say.
I think you would make a lot of flippers unhappy.
I would make a lot of flippers unhappy. And I think that disc manufacturers could do what I suggested and make a lot more people happy as opposed to flippers.
Is it quantity over quality?
I would say quality, which would be the number of different people you're selling to. I think you're more likely, look at it this way. You're more likely to make more people happy with my suggestion of selling of limiting them, then you are making less people happy, and then more people unhappy that will say that if they want one, they have to buy them at marked up value.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to read more about Johnny's theories, discgolfsocialism.com.
Yeah.
Check it out. Johnny V runs that site. But only if you're a fan. You have to be a big
socialism.
You have to be a big enough fan to make sure you have to pay to get into the site so that you can read it to get all of his hottest takes.
Yeah, that's called a paywall. And that's called free
only
marketing.
If you're a big fan, though. You got to be a big fan of you.
No, because that's an unlimited quantity, Terry. There's just like the New York Times has a paywall. Anybody can sign up for it.
Oh, well, it doesn't sound like they're
and they limit the
Yeah, but wouldn't you want a special fan club that's exclusive?
Not if you're not selling a physical product.
All right. I want to be part of an elite club.
There's no restriction on the made up. It's kind of like data. Like there's no limit to the amount of data or the number the quantity of data you can use, but yet ISPs will limit your data usage based on some arbitrary number. There is a limit to the bandwidth at a single particular point in time. Mm-hmm. But if I spread out, let's say I use 20 terabytes in a month, if I spread those 20 terabytes out the entire month, it's not affecting the ISP, as opposed to if I were to try to do 20 terabytes in, we'll say 5 hours or 4 hours, where you're using up a limited resource, which is the quantity, or not the quantity, the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the amount,
Yeah, but even there, you're still straining the system.
Correct.
Even if you're running 20 terabytes of data over a 30-day period,
mm-hmm.
even if it's evenly distributed, you're still straining the system over a 30-day period, and you may not be surging it over that 5-hour period you said, but you're still straining it over a 30-day period. That's not to say you're not straining it. Just water going through a hose. Just because it's not flowing, it's not rushing through the hose doesn't mean that it's not going through a hose. You're still using the hose.
Correct.
And there's still water going through there. And again, then at that point, is it arbitrary as to, how much water is okay?
Yes.
Right. Because I'd understand it if you said, mm-hmm. Hey, when you use this, it's jamming up the hose because there's so much water you're trying to push through. But if you're like, I'm just evenly putting a water through it for 30 days, and then you shouldn't worry about it.
Well, and that's just it. With utilities like that, you're paying for how much you use.
Yeah.
With
I understand.
electricity, water, you pay for the amount that you use, as opposed to internet, which supposedly has unlimited data, but then, of course, they still limit you. That you're not paying for the amount that you use, because there's an infinite amount of that resource. There's an infinite amount of data.
I feel like I got to the end of the internet once.
well, I don't trust me. I've seen some things on the internet that you haven't gotten to. It's not pretty down there.
We don't want to get there.
It's not pretty
all the way
down
to
there.
the very end. We do have a computer update. This has really all been just a ploy for you guys tonight to get my computer to a
91%, Terry.
It's at 91%. It says do not turn off your PC. This will take a while.
You might end up leaving that here overnight. All right, let's give something away to our biggest fans, our Patreon supporters.
Only to you guys. We've got 10 Get Freakies.
We have 0 Get... Well, he might have some Get Freakies. I have 0 Get Freakies. But I do have
newsflash. If you think any one disc, and this is generic.
Yeah, we've said this before.
If you think any one disc is going to revolutionize your game, you're doing it wrong. You are doing disc golf wrong. There's no one driver, putter, or approach disc.
Are you sure?
No mid-range.
I don't know.
No disc at any value of any kind will truly revolutionize your game. Period. There's ones that will help. There's favorites, and there's go-tos, and there's safety blankets, and there's all these great feel-goods. I've got my own. Everybody's got them.
Sure.
But there's
those are
one disc.
Those are worn in. There's no new disc.
No, even a new disc. I won't clarify it there. I'll just say there is no one disc in existence that is going to take you from being a 910 to a 950 rated player, a 950 to a 1010. There's no such disc. Okay? And if you believe that, you're doing it wrong. That's all I'll say about that.
Yes, no, 100% agree with that. There's no magic
Unless you
bullet.
buy some of the good ones I have.
Well, the ones we give away on Patreon actually do.
Oh, God. These, at least a 30-point, it may not be 50 or 60, 30-point ratings jump every time.
But at those 30 points, those are distributed throughout the year.
Yeah, they go through the
They're not.
hose.
It's not
They
like
go
all
through
at
the
once.
12
It's not
month
all at
hose.
once.
Yes. They trickle through the 12-month hose I just referenced.
Yes.
We all, those 12 months hose. All right.
I'm going to hose you.
Patreon supporters going to get some sweet action that I'll be sending out to you guys here soon.
What's the number we should pick, Terry?
Oh, my gosh. Well, 5 get free keys was the limit.
All right, we're going to do the fifth one then. Ready? Not 26, not 72, not 92, not 53. It's going to be the next number,
Oh, please
Terry.
be a 5, for God. Please be a 5.
23. They add up to 5, 2, and a 3. 23. Jordan's number. Michael Jordan's number. 23 is Brian Millman.
Now tell me.
Congratulations, Brian Millman. You are going to get 10 of Terry's Get Freakies.
Do we send the invoice to Discraft or Foundation Disc Golf for all the plugs here tonight? Which one gets the plug? Which one gets the invoice?
I think you just put it on Brody's Discord.
I'm not a big enough fan to pay for that.
They'll pay. It's free, Terry.
Dang it. Okay. I will get in.
True story. I signed up for his Discord, and I'm part of maybe, I'd say 12 different Discord channels. Everything from disc golf to video production to After Effects to Blender, just anything I was kind of interested in. There's a community for it. I signed up for it.
Yeah, go on. I got questions. Go on.
Okay, I'll save your questions.
Mm-hmm.
I already unsubscribed from Brody's. I couldn't handle all the alerts it was sending me because he has it set up that, and almost everyone is different. I should have just muted the channel which you can do, but I got like 5 or 6 alerts in the past 2 days. Just
that's not normal.
No. Most channels kind of have a general idea of cool. We know we have a lot of people in here. Do not use the ping everybody model. Don't send out a message to everybody in your channel
unless it's for a code for a limited release disc.
Maybe. Just usually you don't do that.
Okay.
It's kind of just.
Is it kind of spammy?
A little bit. Trust me, I'm not calling. But I saw it and I kept binging my phone and I was like, I should just. And then finally I was like, I'm just gonna unsub for now until I feel like going back in. And it was really cool when I was in there. Brody was in there. I think at one point I saw Paul in there. I'm not 100% sure, but Brody's in there all the time answering questions and talking. So if you're a fan, by all means sign up for his Discord. You get unfettered access to him. He comes in and he talks to people and all this other stuff. It's a great medium. I really like Discord in general. But the other disc golf one I'm part of, they are very strict on the mods are very strict on, dude, you do not send out an everybody ping. Just don't do it. Unless
I feel like I got good stuff to send to everybody though.
And there are I think you actually have to get it pre-approved by different mods to say, yeah, no, dude, okay, this is a good reason to ping everybody for X, Y, or Z. And I'm not a mod on any of these, but in general, yes. So I'm a member of a lot of different Discord channels, and that one just it pinged a lot, so I just unsubbed for now. I'll probably go back in and find a way to turn off notifications. I couldn't figure it out on my phone, so I just was like, get out of here for now.
So that does actually lead to my very naive and noob-related question to Discord, because I am not a Discord guy.
I like Discord a lot.
So two-part question is, A, and I think you just answered it, does it get really noisy in terms of, you're subscribed now to all these various Discords? Does that get a little bit cumbersome? And then B, I guess the follow-up to that is, and it's kind of a similar question, is there a way to aggregate them all together?
No, you wouldn't want to. Imagine it's basically an ever-flowing message board. Imagine it kind of like that.
Like a Reddit.
Yeah, it's just like it's.
So why is it better or different or worse than Reddit, which I'm also...
It's more real time than Reddit. It's like for Reddit, this is much more of a back and forth conversation as opposed to Reddit is cool. Here's my post, and then you see everything kind of broken out by comments. This is much more of a conversation going back and forth.
So it's a Facebook wall.
No, not quite a Facebook wall.
Sounds a lot like one. Like you'd post like, "Hey guys, I think hey guys, I just got these 5 discs. What do you think of them?
How much do you want
You're
for
a
them?"
son of a, blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah. It just feels. I mean, obviously, a Facebook wall can be very conversational.
It can be, yeah.
Which is funny because then you'd usually,
And it's- but
depending on the conversation, you'd be
it's
like,
much
"Hey, why
more
don't you guys
live.
take that private?" Which
Yeah, correct. It's even more live than Facebook because it's literally happening as you go, and it just scrolls. So you don't have to go back and look. It's just cool. I'm gonna hop in right now and take a look at what's going on. It's much more of a community. What's going on right now? You can break your Discord into obviously different channels. There's a live audio channel. There's live video channels, but you can break them in. Like the one I'm constantly on is all about video production, and they've got all these different channels for different, kind of like Reddit, just different types of video production, whether it's vmix or live production or audio or video,
yeah, like subthreads and
kind of subthreads that just are all live going on at the same time. I like it. I like it better than Reddit personally because it doesn't hang around. There's no pressure. There's no obligation to go back and, oh God, this thread, I'm going to read the entire thread about this.
But you're also saying, I feel like you're saying, well, you could jump in midway into a conversation and then just follow it from there too.
You could, yeah.
Which feels like wouldn't want to do that. Like if somebody's talking about a course or where they played or something that happened on the course, and then there's 400 comments or posts after that. Like in order to catch up, you have to go back up and read
if you wanted to, or it's really easy just to say something like, "Hey, catch me up real quick. What are the details?" And someone will just be in one line, as opposed to Reddit, where it's like, "Oh, cool. Well, I'm not going to do that because by the time I do that and then wait for someone to answer me, it's going to be minutes or hours later." Again, this is much more of just a live conversation you're having with a bunch of people in one community.
It also, and
I can't wait till this is 98%, and then it starts another set of updates.
It's at 98% here, and I'm looking at your at the chat that's coming in, and some people
I've
are
had
saying
my back turned to the chat for a while.
Reddit is Facebook, Discord is Twitter. Someone said it's
Yeah,
kind of like YouTube
kinda like that.
live chat, and then someone said,
it's exactly like this type of chat right here.
Terry, there are servers with channels, and in the channels, people hang around and chat. Right? Sounds like a terrible pickup room, or
Nobody does ASL there.
well, then I don't want it. Some channels are voice enabled, so on and so forth. Okay, so I guess I understand now the analogy when someone said, so like joining the Smashbox in an hour in and saying, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, and having someone just chime in and be like, "Oh, cool, yeah, they had the guys from Goat Hill on."
So my only thought to this is, and I understand it's all about the evolution, as we had the PDGA chat boards, as I was there for the days of chat rooms and private messages, as I was there, ICQ,
IRC, ICQ,
all that
AOL,
stuff.
MSN.
And then it moved over to MySpace, and then Facebook, and then Reddit, and so on and so on and so forth. It's just we keep finding all these different funny places to engage, create and or engage in your own community. But then when you tell me you're in 12 different ones, that, I don't want to say sounds overbearing. That sounds like a lot of work. Like, hey, I'm going to go check 12 different things that interest me on these. And this is all just on one platform. And now maybe you eventually move off of Facebook. You move off of...
I've been on Facebook a lot less. I've been on Reddit a ton less in general, because on Reddit, just like this, you kind of have like on Reddit, I was part of a videography type thing, and I was part of obviously the disc golf one. I was on a politics one, and this one is much more fine tuned to, and again, it's broken out. So guess what? I'm part of an After Effects one. I'm part of a Photoshop one. I'm part of a Premiere one. I'm part of a Blender one. Most of those I don't check regularly. Like if I have a question, it's great because you pop in there. There's always people in there at some point, and you might just be able to ask, "Hey, I got a question. How come this is doing this?" Or "How do I do this? Any ideas?" And it's super instant. It's not make a post. hope somebody sees it, hope Facebook allows someone to see it. You know, hope, you know, at least Reddit, you know, most comments you can get downvoted and they can be hidden, but you can show those. With Facebook, if something's not shown,
well, unless you have your own group or your own profile, which is exactly what it sounds like you're doing here.
Kind of.
You're going out on Discord and you're saying, "Hey guys, I want to have conversation based around this one topic. Come into my you know, secret little private room or server or whatever. Come over here and we're going to have conversations that solely based around that." I feel like you can do the exact same thing, for instance, in a Facebook private group or a fan page or
Kind of.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels very similar. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not
no, I
just
know.
to be clear, I'm not anti or pro any one platform or another. It just that's where I feel like it gets that much busier and noisier. And maybe you're doing just that. You're substituting or replacing at a certain point where you're like, hey, I no longer feel the need to participate in this platform because Discord now, you know, scratches that itch. Or
In general, I
hate
hate Facebook.
Okay.
Like, just in general. I still use it. I'm not going to unuse it. I'm not going to be one of these people.
As we're broadcasting to it right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, I'm quitting Facebook. I think it's a bad platform. I think it's really bad for groups. I think it's really bad for, in general, a lot of their algorithms that specifically tend to point you towards things that make you interact. Engage, which aren't always the best.
Correct.
You know,
Sure.
and that's obviously their thing. But to me, like the Smashbox page, when I make a post there, you would think, cool, I want this to go out to all the people who are fans of Smashbox. Cool. I made a post and it says this hit 200 people of 12,000. You want to boost this to get to all your other fans? And I kind of give them the double fingers. Like, no, these
double thumbs up.
Yeah, the double thumbs up. I think, no, I made a post, like, all my fans should see this. They shouldn't necessarily have to come to my page to see that I made a post, because they might be.
But they have to do that in Discord.
At least in Discord, like, it's in one spot, and I know that they're not going to miss it. Like, I find it a better social media spot, and it's not perfect, because no social media is, because you have jags in there and you have people who, you know, you can mute and hide, and just like any other social media. I just find that I think it's a better, so far, it's right up there with Reddit for me. And the differences are a little, they're subjective, I will say. There's advantages to Reddit and there's advantages to Discord. Again, with Discord, I can ask a question, and if the person who knows the answer isn't on, that might go away, and they would have to scroll back up to see it. At least with a Reddit, that's where if you want to post a question, it's a post that maybe if someone goes under the r/disc golf and they see like, oh, Johnny asked a question, but even that, you have to be able to search around in Reddit, because if it doesn't get enough upvotes, it might not be on the hot page. It might be on the
And
newest.
in Discord,
post.
is that dialogue forever running?
Yes.
So it's always there.
Yep. I can log into.
I do not like that permanency. Let me just be the first to tell you, I do not like said permanency. If I post something, I need to be able to get in there and delete it real quick, just
in case,
just as a backup precaution. There, just letting you guys know.
Yeah. So like, I guess I think that's monitor 1. No, that's monitor 2. Is this? Yeah. So like, this is Discord.
I hope there's a Discord conversation going on right now about how much they
and there might be,
dislike
and it's literally like on the
take
side you've got these different channels. Here you've got, you know, this one's called the Pro Shop. It's a disc golf related one. You just scroll around in here and cool, you can jump in at any point and there might be a conversation going. There might not be. And you can chime in.
It sounds like a great place for lonely people.
It's a community is what it is. It's no different than like someone said, 12 different YouTube live chats going on at once. It's just limited to specific spots.
And who moderates?
You have set moderators, people that you
individuals.
You can assign moderator privileges to specific people, just like any message board.
And who owns it?
Discord?
Please say China.
No, I don't think it's China. I don't know who technically owns Discord, but it's free to use, and there are upgrades obviously for you can get different emotes and there's definitely a way to make money.
Okay.
But it's not China.
You say that now.
I mean, it might
We'll
be
find
behind
out later.
It might
Yeah.
be behind the scenes for all I know, but
I think they're reading all your messages right now.
I don't care if they are.
All right, my
I
computer
don't-
is officially restarted, folks.
Congratulations. I don't have an expectation of privacy when I post in there.
This is beautiful.
It's public.
Huh. It sounds like, again, I think about,
It's just a moving of places. We are moving from one place to another.
yeah, and I understand it very well. It obviously is picking up steam. It's becoming more and more popular. And I'm the first to say, if you're interested in finding other platforms and other releases and places to go to either be interactive, be part of a community, I'm all about it. I'm good with it. It's one that I'm personally not as familiar with, and it's clearly gaining steam because I hear more and more people talking about it regularly.
It's been pretty big for a couple of years now. And I mean, it's the personal version of Slack. Is basically what Slack is, more of a business and
yes,
a business group. This is much more of a personal and groups type environment.
And Slack in a very similar sense too. I always think when you hear people talking about getting onto Slack and having a Slack group or a thread or whatever it is, same thing. I think like, okay, do you have to go dig around? What are you digging around for to check in on all these groups or individuals or people or assignments or whatever? Yeah, very, very interesting.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Fun
sounds
stuff.
like
This was old man explains other old man social media.
I'll bring in my daughters. They'll get you up to date on TikTok real quick.
I know TikTok, and
you don't know it like my daughters know it, though.
I'm sure I don't. I was on TikTok long enough to kind of take a step back and go,
That's where you need to be.
The thing about TikTok is, for the most part, I don't feel like I get any information out of TikTok. Now, I'm sure that it's out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're in the wrong spot.
I'm sure it's out there
because I thought the same.
But for the most part, it's not a place where you're going to you're going to get answers to questions, which is really usually why I'm on the internet. If I'm seeking out information. I'm sure it is on TikTok. I've seen people do how-to videos and things like that on TikTok, but it to me it feels like it's a video version of Instagram. Congratulations, like, here's my thing. Look at me. This is me, and it's not so much of an interaction. To me, it's way less interaction than what I am personally looking for. It's much more seeking out the likes and the comments and the things like that.
I agree. But
again,
in that same vein,
I'm old.
But in that same vein, creating what you envision, or they envision, I should say, of having a community and having a following, and or offering a product or service. Someone that goes out there and does. I'll just use magicians, for instance, that will go out there and sometimes do either magic tricks, whether they're performing them or performing, how-to on magic tricks and such. Like, they're clearly going after a very niche market of followers or fans or whatever that might be. And then that's a great creative outlet for them to do it on there, as opposed to a Discord. It just is much more fitting, for instance, because of the visual aspect.
Which is funny because for me, for the most part, something like that seems like it would be a better fit on a YouTube. But I get the difference between the two. It's a different age group and a different group of people.
It's a different philosophy, though. Because I also feel like when I think about the TikToks and they're going through how to do something like a step-by-step, like, here's my magic trick, and the next 5 clips are how I did it, I don't think that translates well into a YouTube video.
Oh, see, I would think it would.
It's so much more accessible.
Better than like having to watch 5 different videos to go through to figure out what this trick was. It just feels like, cool, if you can't show it to me in one video, you're worthless.
With the exception, though, of the accessibility. Like, when someone can film and post to TikTok in 15 minutes of everything they need to do, including edits and cuts and things that they want it to be presented in their exact way, yet you can't do all of that on YouTube nearly
it's not nearly as easy
as Limbo.
No, I agree, but
anyway. So if you want to follow my daughters on TikTok, no, I'm just kidding.
She wrote that for me, and I don't have TikTok, and I forgot what your daughter's one even was. But
oh yeah, they're another story, and they enjoy it for obviously different reasons than everyone's got their own prerogative.
Yep.
On all of those. In terms of disc golf, or non-disc golf, I don't know if we have too much more for you guys here tonight. Except for my computer is up and running. How exciting is this, John?
Finally. It is 11:55. It probably got up about 5 minutes
you probably
ago.
have forgotten. This is a touchscreen.
No, I remembered it was a
Which may or may
touchscreen
not
because I remember
work.
how broken it was.
Yeah. Oh, this has me excited. I'm going to now have to, at some point, find
Which
a
it was
way
up
to
like
get,
2 days ago. But
yeah, I want to get everything offloaded because there are some gems here. Somebody might find some interest in this as I quickly click on something. Maybe I could find you guys.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Well, I have a folder on this desktop labeled 2013 USDGC highlights. I have a folder labeled Yeti files. I have a folder labeled super secret taxes. I'm just kidding. I don't. I've got a Galaxy S3 phone dumps, as in all audio and video from. So I've got a Mach X commercial on here when the Mach X originally debuted. Yeah, there's some stuff that definitely
Your organization style is.
Oh, it's terrible.
I know.
But there's definitely some stuff that needs to come off here just to triple check that it is actually archived. I believe I have all of this backed up in more than one place, but I see something here that's from 2017. I'm just gonna. There's a folder called Terry's Good Shots from something I filmed. What would have been probably
disc golf related.
October of 2017. I'm gonna guess this is maybe like a Hall of Fame classic. It's exactly that. I see Yale Store at the Hall of Fame Classic. So anyway, this computer needs to get backed up and then eventually wiped off. So it's exciting. There's a little history here in disc golf. That's what I'm looking at. All right, guys, we're going to call it, though. We got to get in where we fit in, just under that 3-hour mark, which is 100% arbitrary, but we'll close it out.
That's what we shoot for, right?
No, I don't think we shoot for anything.
No, we don't.
I hope you've been along for the ride. Leave it in the comments if you haven't already, how hardcore of a collector you are and how or where you think you should be getting your discs. It's clearly a topic for all, depending on
or
where
if you have
sit.
a better solution.
Better solution
to make more people happy.
Send it to Brody on TikTok. Is what you want to do.
Post it to the Discord.
Post it to Simon's Patreon page. And please, I hope this goes without saying, but I'll say it. In no way, shape, or form are we singling out or picking on or harping on any one manufacturer. Tonight. These were the ones that were released yesterday.
This happens to every manufacturer.
This is no ill will towards anyone, any release, any disc. It was easy to reference what it exactly happened yesterday.
Except for AJ Risley. That guy, I don't know. I'm just kidding.
He's a special case.
He is a special case.
But we all knew that. So
I
hope you guys enjoy the Goat Hill footage. Thanks to CCDG. I'm sure those guys are going to go knock it out of the park, along with Alan Risley. And good luck, Thomas, to defend his title. And good luck to AJ, who wants to take the title, I'm sure, away from Thomas, along with all the other viable competitors that are going to battle it out. So for Johnny V, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, your Get Freaky collector, and scalper, come get some. We'll see you guys next time. This has been podcast episode 302.
Come to me if you only want one.
Johnny can sell one, apparently.
I got one. Oh, you got zero.
We'll see you next week when you step inside the Smash Box.